You're on official Rob Brown lockdown. Unfiltered sports talk. Manufactured locally for the Carolinas. This is the Rob Brown Show. Only.
The fan states.
Woo! Ladies, gentlemen, boys, girls, children of all ages, welcome in. The Rob Brown Show's on the radio. This is the Fan Up. Say hi, y'all. How y'all been? Everybody good? Happy Wednesday. The midweek edition of the show gets its start right this very second. I am Rob Brown. Howdy. Welcome in. Good to have you. Hope everybody is just having the time of their lives. Ladies and gentlemen, of course, joining me as always on the other side of the metaphorical glass, the gentleman in charge of this program, all programs, and the chief of the Bucket Fan Appreciation Society. He is the great Alonzo, rocking the bucket hat today in a not-so-silent protest of the authoritarian regime, the fascist dictatorship that is the Gilligan hat-hating Denver Broncos. What up, Zoe?
Alonzo is a superstar.
There it is. Plenty of mileage coming out of that one.
Yeah. You know, I've held on to that for a couple of years. So I finally get to use it. So
for a couple of years.
No, I really have held on to it.
You.
Yeah.
That was not disbelief.
It's like I was looking for other stuff. I was like, oh, there that is. I wonder where that went. I probably need that.
How's everybody, man? What a day. For those of you who don't know what the hell we're talking about,
Screw you, Sean Payton.
A list of new Denver Bronco head coach Sean Payton's demands of his team, things that are and are not appropriate during their training camp and preseason practices dropped out yesterday. Players, once they are done practicing, must immediately remove their jerseys. Players are not to wear sunglasses on the sidelines during practice, and no bucket hats allowed. Rashad Beard is going to be absolutely apoplectic about that. Shad's a big bucket hat guy. Zoe broke out the bucket hat today. I'm going to get my bucket hat the minute the show ends. In fact, yesterday, after we, I waited until the afternoon because Rob Brown knows how to treat a lady. I took my lady yesterday and we went and did something impulsive. We did something life-changing. We did something that it was so big, I decided to tell my family about it before I decided to tell you guys. Yesterday, the fiance and I ran off into the sunset together and made the life-altering decision to become members at Costco. All right? We did it. We took the plunge. We talked about all the ways this would change our life. We talked about our plans together. We talked about how we were going to join our lives together and decided that the right way to handle that was to become Costco members. So we did. I don't know what you're buzzing me about, Lonzo. It was maybe the greatest decision we've ever made.
All right. So from the
I'm in the cult now.
I have refrained from saying anything after hearing the praise of the number one advocate for Costco, who has been in our office like every day, proselytizing for Costco. And I don't think you could call it anything other than that. The sheer joy that whatever word it just comes from his pores when he's trying to sell Rob on why it's so awesome to go to Costco. And I've had Costco membership a couple times and didn't use it because it just there's just a couple people and we don't need it anymore. It's just a hat. But listening to that every and I'm thinking when I come in today after seeing all that, and I'm glad because you've discovered it and you're enjoying it and it's giving you joy. That should give me joy. It does actually. But what I knew I was going to have to experience when I walked into the office, that's totally different. Okay. Because 2 days in a row, All I've heard about today, we heard about the liquor store. Yesterday, we heard about other departments in there. And it's like, dude, are you making money off of this? If it were me doing this and he was in there talking to me about it and you were walking in, you would sit over there in silence and judge, as I've been doing.
For the record, I have now gotten a text from my boy Tommy T. He's like, one of us. James on the stream, one of us. All right. Here's all I'm going to tell you.
It's just a store, dude. It's just a store.
Listen, I was in that boat 100%. I was like, what's the deal with Costco?
I've worked at warehouse stores before. I've been to them before. It's great. I think if you have a big family it's just a store to me.
It's okay. So let me tell you how this goes. And by the way, Jacob in the Berg just texted the carpros.com text line and said, I've been a Costco member for 4 years. I love it. Welcome to the club. Listen, I said the same. Let me tell you how this played out yesterday. This was just going to be about the fact that at some point yesterday
Netflix or Costco. I'm going to go with Netflix.
That's fine. I don't know about you, Lonzo. I just do both. Because you're allowed to do more than one thing.
Well, money dictates that. And if you have to choose between the two,
it turns out, and this might shock you, you don't. You don't have to choose between the two.
Yeah. No, you don't.
You don't. Than one thing.
You don't know me. You don't know my financial situation.
I know you outkicked your coverage in the marriage. All right.
Without a doubt.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure if you got Miss Lisa to Costco, she'd be in too. Let me tell you how this.
By the way,
yesterday.
She's the one who's got the memberships each time, and then she's like, "Oh, we're just gonna let this go because we don't use it that much."
Well, that's on you because we will. We went in there yesterday. This story was going to be about how one of the things that happened yesterday was I walked in and they were selling some nice, dope Adidas bucket hats for like $7. And I was like, I think I'm going to get a bucket hat. And then I decided not to. I don't know why. Just decided not to. Just in time to get home and find out that Sean Payton's a fascist who won't let his players wear bucket hats. The ultimate in head and neck sun protection. There's no better. It's bucket hat and sunscreen. You are impermeable from UV light.
Admittedly, my bucket hat's not big enough for my bucket head. I get that. I know that.
But it's a good look anyway.
I know that it fits though.
So we walked in and the lady friend says to me, we're not going to become those people who buy our clothes from Costco, right? And I'm like, I don't know. Never been in a Costco before. I've never been in one. We're standing in line.
Nope. And
she says that to me. And as we're standing in line, I'm like, the only thing I don't want to do is I don't want to come in here and end up blowing $300 on stuff we don't need, right? We should only use this place for the stuff that we know we're going to need and we go through it, right? Giant thing of aluminum foil. Fine. I put all my food in foil. That's great. Deodorant. I know I'm always going to need more. Buy a 6-pack for the same price as one. Let's go. So we roll in there, and as we're standing in line waiting to get our little card, right? A dude walks out, and he's got 2 giant inflatable kayaks in his cart. And she taps me on the shoulder, and she goes, should we buy inflatable kayaks? Why? Why do we need inflatable kayaks? We haven't been to a lake in over a year. Why do we need inflatable kayaks? She's like, well, if we get them, we'll go to the lake. No, we won't. And even if we do go to the lake, we're both fat. Neither of us is going to want to go to the lake and then work out. If I go to the lake,
I don't know if I'd have worded it that way.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
Neither one of us is going to go to the lake and then work our arm day. Both of us want to go to the lake, sit on a thing that floats, and drink a bunch of beer while we're there, right? Well, I know, but look, they're like $70. And then what do? We dropped like $260 on stuff, including, by the way, her picking up like 2 pairs of yoga pants and a new dress. All right. I said the same thing, Lonzo. It's just a store. It's just a store. It's just a store. And then we rolled in there and I'm like, this is, I can't, but they got me, dude.
Hey, Rob,
they got me.
These are also a sign of something else. A sign.
Yes, I'm getting old.
Yeah. It's definitely the excitement behind a store membership it's I'm watching we
Oh, no, I'll make
collectively
it worse.
as an audience are watching the transformation happen.
I'll make it worse. Here's the worst part. The worst part was yesterday. I decided after my conversation with Captain America Chris Evans down the hall.
Well, see, now you put a name on
it.
it. What
He don't care.
I didn't put a name on it. You put a name on
This
it.
ain't a call out. We're in a club. We're an exclusive club. Yesterday, after we had the conversation, I was like, I'm going to pull the trigger. And the lady friend and I have been kicking back and forth the idea for a while about doing a Costco membership, right? Well, like we're at the other department store like 15 times a freaking month, right? Like 15 times a month we go to this other store. We're like, what if we just knocked it all out at once and just got all the stuff in one stop? And so I not only decided to pull the trigger on that, but I decided going to the Costco to get our membership, Lonzo, was going to be date night. That was this week's date night. And here's the worst part about it. Not that Rob Brown decided going to get our Costco membership was going to be date night. The problem was when we got home, the fiancée looks like she's not a super touchy-feely, affectionate person, right? She doesn't like to be touched. She doesn't like to touch. It takes a lot to get. There's no PDA in my relationship. It ain't her style. Like the most occasionally she'll like put her hand on my shoulder and lean. And like, that's it, right? We get home. She grabs both of my hands in hers, which is weird. It's not weird. It's weird from her. And she goes, thank you. I really enjoyed that.
Well, there you go.
And I'm
It's,
like,
it's
all right,
worth it for that.
Ass. And she's like, I'm not being sarcastic. I genuinely, truly had a really good time with you tonight. Thank you. So not only was Costco the date night, Lonzo, but Costco the date night went over like $1 million bill.
That's awesome. You're going to hate me for this, but I looked up, do warehouse stores really save you money? And the first article is from AARP.
I know. I am painfully aware of my new reality. The reality, it used to be date night for us was I'll pick you up at 7, put on that thing I like. I'll put on the suit you like. We go to dinner. We have a nice dinner. We go out to the bar. We drink expensive drinks until we all get up in our feels. And then we switch to the cheap drinks. And then, we go home together. And now it's get in the car at 6:15. We're hitting the Costco, baby. And it worked like a dream. Like a dream. Not only did, you know what it was? You know that scene in Old School with Will Ferrell? When he's like, can't really drink today, boys. Got a big Saturday plan. We're going to hit the Home Depot. Maybe if things go well, a little Bed Bath & Beyond afterwards. That's just my actual, real, for sure life now.
It's so outdated because Bed Bath & Beyond doesn't exist anymore. So
I don't know. I'm not a Bed Bath & Beyond guy. I'm a Costco guy.
You'll
now.
never get the chance now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, so the natural progression has to be changed. You can't go there.
Oh, let me make it even worse. Yesterday, when I was telling her during the day, I'm like, hey, I got a date night lined up. She's like, what are we doing? Nothing. It's a surprise. I'll tell you when you get home. She gets home. What are we doing? I'm like, it's a surprise. Get in the car. She looks at me and she goes, are we going to Lowe's? Are we going to Lowe's? And she was genuinely titillated by the idea that we were maybe going to Lowe's for more gardening stuff.
She takes pride in her home. So, I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't think that has to do with age. Costco, that's totally different.
Dude, I don't know what's happening to me, but it's happening very quickly. Ladies and gentlemen, we got a show lined up for you today. A lot of stuff we need to get into. No college football expansion talk.
But allegedly, we'll see.
Until the third hour of the show.
Yeah, I knew it was coming.
Because some things are still moving and shaking, but I understand I have inundated the first hour of the show all week with college football expansion. So as
you
a
have
tribute,
fomented disdain.
Listen.
I never used the word foment. I thought it was a good spot for it.
It's a good spot.
Yeah.
It's a good spot. I know that I have warned you guys out, you first hour listeners. I've warned you out on college football expansion. So I'm going to do it in the third hour instead. But as I said yesterday, The reality of the situation is it is historical in context. Genuinely. Like, when you're living through historical times because it's so damn impactful. And I think we are. But I also know that we want to talk football. So we're going to, including coming up here in just a little while from right now. We are going to start getting into the Carolina Panthers preseason. They have been having joint practices with the New York Jets this week. And there are some interesting developments, including yesterday, the release of the first unofficial depth chart for the Carolina Panthers. And there are a couple of surprises on it, including a young man drafted this year who has earned his way into the starting lineup. And I am not talking about Bryce Young.
Well, he is in the starting lineup. But
right, he is too, but I'm not talking about him specifically this time. We're going to talk about that coming up here in just a little while from right now. We have got to get into a little Clemson and South Carolina football. It has intrigued me over the past week that Clemson has been going through their preseason practices. It has intrigued me how many players have been stepping out to talk about the growth and maturity of one Cade Klubnik without being asked or prompted to do so. So I want to get into that a little bit. Plus, the one thing that I do think Clemson should do to maintain their ACC dominance this year. It's something I've said a number of times, but now it's being echoed by analysts at the top levels. I'm going to tell you what that is coming up later on in the radio broadcast.
By the way, real quick, if you're on Facebook, YouTube, X, or Twitch, you saw me imitating Cade Klubnik.
It's a stream exclusive.
I just did it again.
Stream.
And that'd give you a workout because you got to do that fast. I mean, you can't. I mean, you're still not gonna fool the defense because they know what you're gonna do, but still, you got to do it fast.
You're really making me hope that Cade throws for like 7,000 yards this year. Just to watch you
want to do well in every game.
You get depressed more and more week by week.
I'm not going to get depressed. Clemson is the ACC. I mean, he may throw the ball here and there, but he doesn't have to win that. I mean, all you got to do is do what you're good at.
We will be talking a little bit about that later on in the show. We got to talk about bucket hats in more detail. I got to go get one. We had a big break in the PGA Live Tour story that went out yesterday. We're going to talk about that later in the radio broadcast. And ESPN yesterday announced a mega move that I find very interesting based on all the stories that are going on at the time. We're going to talk about all of that and more over the next, I was going to say 3 hours, but let's call it 2 hours and 42 minutes of sports talk radio excellence, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Rob Brown, the great one, Lonzo on the ones and twos. You are listening to the Rob Brown Show. You are listening to the Fan Upstate.
Gables.
All right, guys, we got a live read. Stay right there. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes.
Xeljanz tofacitinib is approved for adults with moderate to severe RA when tumor necrosis factor blockers did not work well or could not be tolerated. Xeljanz can help relieve joint pain, swelling, and help stop further joint damage. Xeljanz can lower your ability to fight infections. Don't start if you have one. Before and during treatment, your doctor should check for infections like TB and do blood tests. Serious, sometimes fatal infections, cancers, including.
I do feel bad that, that I poured water on the fire that is Costco for, someone who hasn't been there before. I just think it's after you go for a while, the hassle of location and traffic and amount of people starts to wear at you to the point that you try to go, yeah, is this worth it? Or, and I don't think it is, but there again, I'm antisocial, so maybe that's what it is. Because if I go somewhere and it's just constantly so crowded that it's just, and people are rude also, that just does,
Jacob said he got his wife's engagement ring from Costco.
Save money where you can. I don't, It also, depending on traffic on Woodruff Road, can take me 35 to 40 minutes to get there from home.
Fair.
So, I mean.
It took us a while to come down Woodruff yesterday
Yeah.
to get there. The Rob Brown Show rolls on. It is the Fan Upstate, ladies and gentlemen. Robin Lonzo with it. It is Wednesday morning. Ever so glad to have you along for the ride. The first, and may I clarify, unofficial depth chart for the Carolina Panthers made its debut. Frank Reich and the gang put out what we assume will be the depth chart for game number 1 of the preseason. It is this Saturday evening against the New York Football Jets up at Bank of America Stadium. We all knew that BY was going to get the nod at QB1. That is now official on the depth chart. We all very much assumed that Miles Sanders was going to be running back 1. He is. Chuba Hubbard listed as the second running back. Raheem Blackshear is the third. No surprise there. At the tight end spot, Hayden Hurst, no shock. We talked earlier in the week about how Hayden has been becoming a very comfort target for Bryce Young. That is something I told you the day they picked that guy up. He might go down as the single most important free agent acquisition for the Carolina Panthers this year. A good pass-catching tight end is a young quarterback's best friend. And that doesn't get less important as a quarterback gets better. Again, how many TDs did the GOAT throw to Gronk when they were playing together? The answer? A lot of them. A lot of them. So Hayden Hurst listed as tight end number 1. Interesting enough, Lonzo, they actually listed 2 starting tight ends. I'm not talking Hayden Hurst / Ian Thomas. I'm saying they have two tight ends listed in the starting rotation. Ian Thomas, the other one, Tommy Tremble, Steven Sullivan will be joining the backups. And then the last tight end on the roster, Giovanni Ricci, which is just a fun name to say.
It is. Absolutely. It makes me think of Imperium. Are you announcing two starting tight ends because you're going to be running a 2 tight end set?
I would not be shocked if they do occasionally. And why wouldn't you, right?
Well, especially if you're going to be a running team.
100%.
I mean,
Sets you up for the run, also allows you to have a tight end target to whatever side Bryce Young's going to roll to, but still give him one additional member of backside protection. It's a phenomenal idea. Icky starting at the left tackle. Brady Christensen at the left guard. Bradley Bozeman at center. Cade Mays at right guard. And Taylor Moton at right tackle. No real surprises there. There's a couple of other names I'm interested in. Michael Jordan could be called into some roles in different spots throughout the year. Cameron Irving will be the backup right tackle. But the position that I found most interesting in the first unofficial depth chart, great one, is the wide receiver spot. DJ Chark is listed as a wide receiver in the starting role. And so is Jonathan Mingo. Now, again, ordinarily, an NFL depth chart is going to list 3 wide receivers and 1 tight end. The Panthers opening depth chart lists 2 wide receivers, an S wide receiver, and a tight end. In the S, the slot wide receiver position, is listed Adam Thielen. Again, no surprise there. But John Mingo being listed over Laviska Shenault and Terrace Marshall Jr. in a preseason game is kind of interesting to me. Now, I don't suspect it's going to be this way for every preseason game, predominantly because I suspect, as we have been saying this entire offseason, that TMJ is going to get the opportunity to try to break out this year. TMJ is going to get the opportunity to try to break out. And I think it is a big time opportunity for, again, him to do exactly that. This is his chance. This is his spot. This is his time. If he is going to break out, he's got to do it in the preseason, because once we get to the regular season, you got to go with the dudes who give you the best shot at winning. TMJ, as I have said multiple times, has, in my opinion, a real opportunity to become the red zone target of choice, right? TMJ and Hayden Hurst should both be major players in the Carolina Panthers red zone offense. So the fact that they listed John Mingo over TMJ is kind of interesting to me. This is the biggest surprise on the depth chart, in my opinion. DJ Chark, Adam Thielen, and John Mingo. TMJ was in this role last year. And by the way, Terrace Marshall Jr. has stood out the last couple of practices. It's not like he's not playing good ball right now. In fact, he's playing some of the better ball we've seen out of him.
But what if Mingo's playing just that much better? I know people are reporting on how good Terrace Marshall is doing, but maybe Mingo is playing that much better.
I have seen a couple of highlights out of both, right? I've seen a couple of highlights out of both. I've seen some big-time moments out of Terrace Marshall Jr., again, particularly in those jump ball situations, right? He's a dude, you float it out there when you get him locked up one-on-one against a 5'9" corner, and you say, we're just going to out-jump you. You run him in a slant. I'm going to get that DB on my outside hip. You throw it up, over, and past the helmet so he can extend and get it without any chance for DBs to knock it down and away. It's a great opportunity, but Jonathan Mingo seems to be doing it a little bit better and a little bit faster. You would think that the seniority of TMJ, the fact that he's been here, he's done it, might play in, but what it tells me, or at least what I'd like to think it means, great one, is that Frank Reich really did push the reset button. If you were here already, it means nothing. We are resetting this thing from the ground up, and anybody who is here already has to earn their spot just like the newbies do. And so far, if this depth chart, and again, I'm taking this with a shaker of salt, because I might be right. This is a preseason week 1 depth chart. It is as much about getting the first team reps and getting up to speed, right? It makes sense to me that Carolina would roll out a true, genuine week 1 starting 11 in preseason week 1, because I want BY to see what this offense is going to look like in week 1. I want him to get a full feel for what for who's going to be out there, for what they're going to be doing at the speed they're going to be doing it at, and we'll work on developing. Because as much as I've said, everybody said, preseason games are more about the coaches and the players than the fans, right? This is why so many people don't care. Why am I going to watch my third string offensive line play? Well, the reason they're playing is for coaches to decide, hey, we're at 90 guys right now. We got to cut it down into the 70s in a week and a half. Who's not making this cut? There are 70 guys on this roster that got to go. And then once we do that, there's 20 that have got to go. And then there's still 20 more that got to go after that. We need to know who's ready today, who's ready to be on a 53-man roster. But you know the top guys, and you want BY to get a run with those guys. This means either Mingo's killing it, or it means that he's kind of right there on the edge, and we got to see who gets listed on the week 1 depth chart officially.
Let me give you another angle why I think they do this. And you've seen this happen at other teams too. When you have 2 guys coming in at the same time, and you want to develop a chemistry between those 2 because you know you're going to have them for their entire rookie contract probably. And that's why you put Mingo in there in between a bunch of other veteran receivers, and then develop that chemistry between he and Bryce Young, because they're going to be there for a while. And you want to see if you can get that early on, you know you're going to have that for the next 3 or 4 years.
Very possibly. Very possibly. So I'm not entirely sure what this means. What I do know is it comes as a bit of a surprise, right? I think I don't want to say all of us. I think a lot of us thought, and again, I was very high on John Mingo. If you've listened to the show since the draft, you know I was high on Mingo when they drafted him. I've been high on him through practices so far. I think this kid's got the potential to be a Michael Thomas-esque wide receiver, a slant god. And as much as the slant god has frustrated a lot of people, right, by being a slant guy, it's worked when he's healthy. It's worked. Mingo's got that. But to see him listed as a starting wide receiver is a little bit shocking. A little bit shocking. Another thing that stood out, we've talked offensive line. We've talked offensive line a lot. One of the things that we're keeping an eye on is Austin Corbett. Austin Corbett is still recovering from that ACL tear. He is not expected back by week 1. So the question mark is, who's going to be the guy that fills into that role right now? Not Austin Corbett. Austin Corbett still recovering from the ACL. Cade Mays is plugged in at his starting right guard spot. But Deontay Brown has been having himself a good offseason so far. Deontay Brown, who played all 100, along with Justin McCray, who played all 150. This is why I can't write my show prep down at night, man. My handwriting sucks. The later it gets. Anyway.
You can type on that thing, you know? I get it. Takes a little more time.
A little slidey thing, and then you got to check for typos.
You don't have that thing where it will put it in type.
I can write and then it goes to type.
That's
but
what I mean.
The same problem. My handwriting sucks.
Okay. All right.
I can't pick it up.
You can't figure out what you wrote. Okay.
Yeah. When my tablet beeps and goes, WTF.
Well, you can dictate to me and I'll type it, at night if you want.
I'm going to start calling Lonzo at 10 p.m. All right, show prep time.
Yeah, I mean, we
Grab
can do that.
keyboard.
I'm sure there are shows out there that do that.
Deontay Brown lined up as the backup behind Cade Mays. Justin McCray listed as the backup center. McCray is very interesting at that position because he played all 151 snaps at guard last year, and they moved him over to the middle. Now, Bradley Bozeman's got the lock. And by the way, I like Bradley Bozeman a lot. I like him a lot. I like what I've seen in the offseason. He very clearly has spent some time. Remember, he was kind of listed last year. Is he going to be the starter? Is he going to be the backup? Are we going to see some rotation to that position? Bradley Bozeman has locked that center position.
He got that job because of injury, if you remember.
He sure did. And then he kept it.
He did.
Right? There's the old phrase in the NFL, you can't lose your job to injury. Yeah, you can if the guy who comes in and replaces you kicks ass, right? Because the NFL's a business. If the guy who replaces you comes in and smokes it, you've lost your job to injury. It's unfortunate, but it's true. And Bradley Bozeman seems to be that guy. One more guy. Thanks, Keegan. One more guy that I think we have to talk about. This is a dude that I have been waiting to talk more about since he showed up. I really liked him at the collegiate level. I thought that he was underappreciated because of where he played at Virginia Tech. I thought when he ended up at Carolina that he could end up being a difference maker. Not necessarily a game changer, but I think a difference maker. And that guy is Raheem Blackshear. Raheem Blackshear is listed as RB3. And I don't have any problem with that. You got Miles Sanders, who carried the Eagles to a Super Bowl last year on his legs. You got Chuba Hubbard, who gives you the dichotomy betwixt the two running backs, right? You got Sanders, who's a little quicker and shifty. You got Chuba Hubbard, who's a little bit more power inside of the guards. And then you got Blackshear, who's kind of a poor man's Darren Sproles, right? You can get him the ball in space. You can throw it to him on screens and draws, and he's a little bit more shifty when he's got the rock. How shifty is he when he's got the rock? How about this, Lonzo? Raheem Blackshear is currently listed as kick returner number 1 right now. That is ahead of Laviska Shenault. That is ahead of Shi Smith. Now, Shi Smith is listed on a depth chart that has 3 wide receivers, 2 and then a slot. Shi Smith is listed behind Damiere Byrd on the depth chart. Now, again, it is preseason depth chart number 1. There are questions I do not know, left or right, up or down, why Frank Reich has listed some of the guys in certain places that he has listed, right? Is it development? Is it progression? Is it to let BY get comfortable with the starting offense, which it looks like it is, right? Based on what I'm seeing with the offensive line primarily, right? Like I would want to see Deontay Brown get some snaps, get some XP, see if I can get him up over Cade Mays. I want to see what Cam Irving does at the left tackle spot. I want him to be ready just in case something happens to Taylor Moton, to know that my rookie quarterback has a solid backup left tackle option there. But the fact that they've went with Icky, Brady, Bradley, Cade, and Taylor tells me this is offense number 1. And if that is true, and if that is correct, Shi Smith is the 7th wide receiver in a 3 wide receiver set, which also tells me, Zoe, he might be in a little bit of danger to not make the team. He might not make cuts, which I would hate because I'm pulling for this guy. I liked him in South Carolina. I want him on this roster. But the fact that Derek Wright and Javon Wims have locked down the split wide receiver 3rd position, and the fact that he is listed behind Damiere Byrd as the 3rd slot wide receiver, that scares me a little bit.
Yeah. So one Gamecock's going to lose out to another one. I like Damiere Byrd. I've always liked Damiere Byrd. I like Shi Smith too, but as pointed out in the stream, he does drop the ball a lot. He absolutely does.
Turns out that's real bad if you're a wide receiver.
Yeah, you probably
that's
shouldn't do
kind
that.
Of the number one thing not to do if you're a wide receiver, as a matter of fact.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I think Shi might not make this roster, honestly. Being listed not just as a 3rd wide receiver, that's one thing, Alonzo, but as a 3rd slot. The fact that they have made the slot receiver a specialized position on this depth chart, and Shi's been listed as the 3rd slot receiver, tells me his job's in danger. He's going to get his it's preseason.
I was going to say, it's preseason. Yeah, he's going to get a lot of playing time, and we're going to see.
Yeah. He's going to get opportunities in the preseason, but I'm going to tell you this, the margin of error for Shi Smith is non-existent.
But
there is not one.
He's been on is he going to make the team? Is he not going to make the team ever since he made the team? So I mean, it's not like this is something he's not used to.
Yeah, but man, like Frank Reich's in a spot as well. He's got a lot of leeway, at Carolina, but I also think it's kind of a position here where he's got to make sure that there's no room for emotion in this offense with Bryce Young at the helm, right? There's no, we're going to let you grow into this role. My dude, you've been here for a year and a half. We've added to the wide receiver room. There's no margin for error here. There's no room for development here. You're either developed or you're not, right? Which is, by the way, part of the reason that I'm a little taken aback that Jonathan Mingo is listed as wide receiver 1. Because that tells me if, like I said, what I think is true, and that is this is your starting week 1 offense so that Bryce Young can get some time in the pocket with the number 1 offense. That tells me that Mingo has really lifted the bar for rook wide receivers, and that might cost Shi Smith his job.
Well, across the league, a lot of teams are playing their first teams this week in the first week, and then we probably won't see him again. So I can't wait to see what this team looks like. I mean, we saw what they look like in practice, but now getting to see what they look like against another team, which still will be some familiarity because, the Jets are in town practicing with them. So, but I can't wait till Saturday to see what they look like, specifically still Bryce Young. I mean, still want to see what he looks like and see what the offense and the defense, because it's a whole new thing on both sides of the ball, just to see what it looks like. Cannot wait for Saturday to see.
The mad chatter in the stream right now said if you were drafted first or second round, that means you are go time, starting ready, or it's a bad pick. I will agree with that like 85% of the time, right? I absolutely think there are project picks. Now, I will say ordinarily, a project pick doesn't come out of the SEC, the ACC, the Pac-12. Project picks are the guys you're picking up out of Liberty, Northwestern, right? But for the position Frank Reich was in, for the position the Panthers are in, for the position this offense is in, picking John Mingo in round 2, I said the day he got drafted, that was a really good pick, and it looks like that's playing out. We'll talk some more Cats later on in the radio broadcast, including their official over-under win total has dropped. We taking the over? We hitting the under? It's at a real interesting number. I'll tell you what that is later on in the show. We'll get some college football in here. I got a list of potential dark horse national champions. A couple of teams I want you to keep an eye on that, due to outside variables, could very much be in the mix late in the season. I'll see which ones you like and which one you don't. We'll do all that and more coming up later on in the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate. Matt Rule threw away picks like I am fine with still being mad at Matt Rule. That guy was so bad at his job.
SMU rumored to be on the list as well. The Carolina Panthers set for their first preseason game. That's this Saturday afternoon at home against the Jets. The Panthers released their first depth chart of the season on Tuesday. Bryce Young, the team's rookie quarterback and first overall pick in this year's draft, is officially the first-string quarterback. No surprise there. Head coach Frank Reich declared that on the first day of training camp. The Panthers will open the regular season on the road visiting Atlanta on September the 10th. The Braves beat the Pirates 8-6 on Tuesday. Orlando Arcia hit a two-run double in the ninth. Atlanta rallied from 3 runs down to beat the Pirates. Ronald Acuna Jr. hit a leadoff homer, but left the game in the 6th after being hit by a pitch. Fan Upstate is your home for
Gene Smith is retiring. It's over. It's over. The AD for the Ohio State Buckeyes.
Did you just announce that?
Yeah. About
2024.
10. Yeah. But the thing is, I don't know why it matters to anybody else, but
he's not that old of a dude, is he?
Yeah, I think so. 60s, maybe older than that.
So whatever your industry, you're always getting professional grade products. Call clickgranger.com or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done. From local town councils to Capitol Hill, agents who are realtors are.
He's 59.
We're here protecting property rights.
So it's close. It's 60s. So
Here championing fair and equitable housing for all. Because we are realtors.
you can only handle being on the top for so long, and it starts to burn at you. You just need a little bit of rest. You know how that goes.
Granger, we're for the ones who pay attention to every little detail. The ones who fuss, tinker, and sweat the small stuff. Because you know the tiniest thing can make the biggest difference when it comes to keeping business moving. We get it. We're the same way, offering access to product experts to help you quickly and easily find what you need. So whatever your industry, you know you're always getting professional grade products. Call, click Granger.com, or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
Kelly Blue Book is the one-stop shop for pricing, fixing, selling, and instant cash offer. Instant cash offer is exactly what it sounds like. An official offer to buy or trade your car. Just enter your VIN or license plate, answer a few questions about your car's history, and what kind of condition it's in. In minutes, you'll receive an offer to
Yes, the Panthers have made some bad decisions. They've also drafted pretty well through the years. Look at Kuechly, Cam Newton when he was hot. I mean, come on.
From the Ingles Market Studio,
Upstate, 97.7 FM Greenville. 97.1 FM Spartanburg.
from the freelance
The Rob Brown Show back on your radio. It is the Fan Upstate. Rob Brown, the great one, Lonzo, and you want to be a part of the show. Now's your opportunity. 844-326-3663. Text us on the carpros.com text line at 71307. Start your text with FAN, F-A-N, FAN, F-A-N, and we will read them on the radio broadcast. Let's take a look at where we stand right now on everything. I want to start with for the Carolina Panthers in the betting market, which, by the way, big reason we're going to get into some betting talk in the next hour of the show because ESPN's about to change the game.
Nope.
Tell you what I mean in just a minute. The initial lines are out, though, for the 2023 schedule for the Carolina Panthers. We'll start with week 1. And we won't go through every one of these, just the ones that jump out as kind of interesting to me. I think there's some potential to make some money on the Cats this year, and here's why. Start with week 1. They're on the road. They're at the Atlanta Falcons. That's a Sunday kick on September 10th, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It is live from the Mercedes-Benz Stadium Dome. Anyway, Falcons open up as 2.5-point favorites. You get 3 from being at the house, which means Vegas thinks the Cats are a 0.5 point better than the Birds in this one. I'm not saying, Lonzo, that I'm going to hammer the hell out of that line because I want to see Bryce Young.
Yeah, I was going to say, wait till after Saturday before you.
Well, here's the problem. The problem that you have to deal with here is this. If Bryce Young comes out on Saturday and destroys the Jets, that line's going to move, and it's going to move quick, right? If BY comes out and in one half goes 14 for 16 for 265 and 3 touchdowns, that line's going to jump. So the question is, how much do you believe in BY? If you believe he is the guy, Adam Thielen believes he's the guy, Frank Reich believes the guy, both of them have been way less than shy about showering praise on Bryce Young. And again, I said yesterday, what impresses me in all these comments about Bryce Young is not what these guys are saying, it's what they're not saying. Go back and listen to head coaches and wide receivers talk about rookie quarterbacks who were named QB1 early in their career in years past. And you're going to hear things like, you know, he's going to make mistakes, and our job is to make sure he learns from those mistakes and develops. You know, there's always going to be some issues with the speed of the game that rookies have to catch up to. You know, it's a lot different playing in college ball than the NFL. We got to catch him up. Lonzo, you heard anything like that about BY?
I have not.
Neither have I. It is not what they are saying. It's what they are not saying, in my opinion. So, I have between now and Saturday to decide if I am going to drop some change down on the Carolina Panthers. And I have between now and Saturday to decide if I'm going to drop some change down on the Carolina Panthers, because we got to see what Bryce Young is going to do. If he comes out and smokes it, then that line's going to go from plus 2.5 to, -3, -5, whatever it's going to be. Mad Chatter says Panthers better than Falcons. I agree. I am one of, from what I can tell, a small number of media members who does not think that Bijan Robinson is suddenly the answer to the Panthers or to the Falcons' problems. Like, you're still trotting out Desmond Ridder, my dudes. I'm just not sold. I'm looking at the rest of that depth chart, and there's some interesting spots. Again, I think the offensive line for Atlanta is very good. But are Drake London, Matt Collins, and Scott Miller getting thrown to by Desmond Ridder? Is that really your spot? Right? Hell, as Joey B just said, and I think I probably could have summed it up this way, it's not that I do believe in BY, it's that I don't believe in Desmond Ridder. Panthers should stack the box, stuff the run, and dare Ridder to throw the ball. I said that a week and a half ago, didn't I? Whatever Atlanta puts in the box, if I'm a DC in the NFC South, whatever Carolina puts in the box, I'm putting one more. Right? You go 5 in the box in the spread set, I'm putting 6. I'll go one-on-one on the outside. You add the tight end and go 6 in the box, I'm putting 7. You go double tight end, I'm putting 8. Whatever you put in the box, I'm going +1. I'm taking the run from you. Whoever is my central defender in my +1 defense against Atlanta, all I need you to do is go hit Bijan Robinson every play. Every play. Just go light up Robinson or Al Geyer, whoever else is back there. Light them up. And if they do that, they're going to beat Atlanta. I got zero faith in the Atlanta. I don't know why it is everybody's high on Atlanta. +2.5. You're giving me Carolina +2.5? That's a ridiculous number. The only reason I bring it up is because you should grab it right now. You should grab it right now. Because if Bryce Young comes out and has any sort of day on Saturday against the Jets, that line's going to drop. It's going to go to Carolina -1.5, -2.5, -3.5. You might as well take the points while they're giving them to you. The number blows my mind. By the way, what I was going to drive at before I saw that number and it threw me off, season win total for the Panthers this year is set at 7.5. They got to get to 8 to clear it. Are you taking it? Text me, 71307 on the carpros.com text line. Are you betting the over on the under? Panthers 7.5 wins. What are y'all's thoughts? We're back after this for hour 2 of the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate. The O-line is the question, right? Like, the O-line is the question, but this O-line in the back half of last year was good. And it's not only is it the same O-line, but it's now the same O-line with less this guy, that guy's.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill. ZipRecruiter helps me keep my business running.
Take it from Marco and millions of other businesses who use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post the job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
Furman Fan Fest 2023 is set for August 19th, beginning at 2 p.m. in Alley Gym with volleyball hosting Georgia Southern. And then we shift to Powellman Stadium at 4 o'clock. Live music, balloon artists, face painting, inflatables, food trucks and yard games, and even limited concessions inside the stadium. Furman takes the field at 5 p.m. for workouts. And once that's completed, fans can come on the field for pictures and autographs. That's Furman's Fan Fest, August 19th, beginning at 2 p.m. on campus. Don't miss it.
Sinking Foundation can cause you to make quick decisions that could be wrong. Travis Benson, owner of CNT Foundations.
Many of our clients come to us after a bad experience with another company. From high-pressure sales techniques to misinformation, we've heard it all. If you're facing foundation problems, Take a breath and take time to get a second opinion. We offer free estimates and reliable advice.
Call 864-581-3341. CNT Foundations, your foundation experts.
Attention all football fans. Are you ready to experience MVP treatment in banking? Look no further than Founders Federal Credit Union, where personalized service is the winning play. Don't settle for being just another number. Join Founders and receive the personalized attention you deserve, along with great rates, loans for any reason, and a dynamic online experience. Visit one of their 41 convenient office locations or visit foundersfcu.com to see if you qualify for membership. Relax. Go Rebels.
Mad World Haunted Attraction is back and bigger than ever. Don't miss the largest ticket sale of the season, Friday, August 18th. All tickets will be 35% off for 1 day only. See it big online at madworldattractions.com.
DQ presents how to fancy up any occasion. Step 1, grab the caramel fudge cheesecake blizzard from DQ. Step 2, break out your fanciest sweatpants and park yourself in your comfiest chair.
No, you're right, Chatter. I agree entirely. But again, I from what I saw last year, I would be happy to bank this offensive line is the honestly, it's probably the best in the South. Probably the best in the NFC South. It's either that or Atlanta.
Can give your business a new advantage. Introducing USPS Ground Advantage. Reliable and affordable 2 to 5 day package shipping. It's the advantage you need at the price you want. Get the Ground Advantage at USPS.com/advantage. The United States Postal Service, delivering for America.
According to our guys at Panther Nation Podcast, the crowd at Wofford is pretty big right now. I don't know why. Why would it be so big? Ain't nothing new going on over there.
Change.
Liver Rob the Woke Warriors. Absolutely. Hashtag Team Save the Planet. Absolutely. Hashtag Team Conservation. I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now. If you tell me I'm only allowed to use 1 square, I better move next to a river or something because that ain't going to work. All right? That ain't going to work.
Is that Nature's Bidet?
Same break show, new time.
The Rob Brown Show.
Now 9 to noon, only on the Fan Upstate.
Hey, football fans, this is Cole Bryson. Are you ready for the ultimate adrenaline-packed high school football experience? Starting Saturday, August 19th. Tune into the Fan Upstate every Saturday morning from 8 to 10 for the Saturday morning scramble. You'll get the latest score.
I think the offensive players to watch on Saturday are Cade Mays at guard and John Mango at wide receiver. Those are the 2 guys I'm most interested in watching.
Manufactured locally for the Carolinas. This is the Rob Brown Show.
Yeah. Hour number 2 of the Rob Brown Show starts now, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. This is the Fan Upstate. How we doing? How's everybody? Y'all having a good day? Everybody just rocking and rolling so far? You want to be a part of the show? Now is a wonderful chance for you to do it. 844-326-3663. 844-326-3663. You can text us at 71307, 71307. Start your text with FAN, F-A-N, FAN, F-A-N, and we will read them on the air. You can tweet X me at the Rob Brown Show, at the Rob Brown Show. Get the whole thing. Make sure you throw that. At the Rob Brown Show. You can also tweet and/or X and/or post and/or threads or and/or whatever else you want to call it. The great one at Lonzo on Word.
Lonzo is a superstar.
I can't get used to it. I like the enthusiasm, though.
You may not be able to get used to it, but I've been
It doesn't
shining.
matter if I do.
I've been shining over here since the beginning of this radio station.
Yo. Anyway, how about
Yeehaw!
That one either. How about this? I brought up to open the show the fact that yesterday the lady friend and I became members at Costco. And I did not realize that we were joining a cult. But we have. And so far, we're good with it. I got, in the one segment we talked about this.
Don't drink the Kool-Aid, man. But it may be too late.
In the one segment that we talked about this, like 7 different texts from people. Either welcoming me to the Costco family or telling me about how Costco has impacted their lives for the better.
Told you, it's proselytizing. It's exactly what it is.
I mean, I don't know to tell you. It was great.
Hey, you know what? I like stores and I like certain restaurants and stuff, but I'm not going to, put my arm around you and tell you, can I talk to you about Costco, Rob?
One listener said that they ended up purchasing their wife's engagement ring from Costco. I got to tell you, the lady friend picked out some stuff she liked at the Costco yesterday that I was like, let me just go ahead and make a little notey note of that. All right. One guy earlier said that every piece of furniture in his living room is from the Costco. One listener earlier said that, let's see, where did it go? Oh, man. There was one more.
You guys do know it's just Walmart in bulk. That's all it is.
Sure.
With bigger carts.
What?
And they don't have.
Can I tell you how nice it is to have a shopping cart? I don't have to bend over.
Well, there is that. I was going to say.
That alone is worth the price of admission.
I was going to say it's like pushing a truck, but they're not that. They're pretty smooth, but
that alone is worth.
But you also have to box your groceries, bag them, and if you buy a lot, like how many trips did it take you to get the stuff into the house?
One. Because they give you a big like a big cargo box and just lift that bad boy up and carry it in.
Well, look at you.
I know.
Getting a workout.
You won't like me when I'm thrifty.
Did you buy like 5-gallon buckets of Duke's mayonnaise?
No, but they definitely sell they sell a Duke's mayo jar large enough that I could stuff my cat inside of it if I wanted to.
We don't suggest that you do that.
No, don't do that. I'm just saying
it's kind of bad, yeah.
But we haven't gotten to the 2 things that I was like, this is already going to pay off in spades. Number 1, $1.50 hot dogs. Do you understand? Do you understand in the world we're living in this economy, $1.50, you go in, you get a foot-long quarter-pound hot dog and a 20-ounce drink
all right.
for $1.50.
It's not a quarter pound. I mean, a foot long.
It's a quarter
it's not
pound
a quarter.
hot dog.
Did you bring out your little scale? And,
you know how I eat, yeah?
Yes, I do.
I had one. I was full. I mean, I also ate a sliced pepperoni pizza
I was gonna
because
say,
I had to try it.
I thought there was more that went into that, but
Also had a slice, but I ate the hot dog and I was like, I'm good.
By the way, the slice of pizza is pretty big, so I mean, there's that.
And by the way, that was like $2, like $2.50, something like that, right? I walked up in that bad boy yesterday, went quarter-pound hot dog, sliced pepperoni pizza, and a 20-ounce drink. I was in for $4.
Plus,
that's incredible.
Yeah, but you're actually paying more for that because you had to pay for your membership. So
getting that back, no
Are
problem.
you?
Oh
Okay.
yeah, oh yeah.
I guess
Trisha said, did you get a chance to walk into the liquor store side? Well, actually, I'm assuming typo. They said your mom will be blown away by the prices. I'm assuming you went mine and not that my literal mother's going to. She might be. They had some good wine up in that bad boy, yo. They had some real nice wine in there. Like surprising selection of wine. But I'm going to tell you, I told Captain America this earlier. Yo, somebody last year, we did Friendsgiving last year at our house. All right. We did Friendsgiving. And somebody, I don't know who it was, I think it was my buddy Dan, I'm not sure, left 3/4 of a bottle of Kirkland's vodka at the house. Now, I will tell you, I'm a dark liquor guy. I'm a bourbon guy. I'm a whiskey guy. I'm a rum guy. But vodka is the best option you have if you're trying to drop some LBs, but you also want to have a little drink or two before you call it a night. So vodka's like, it stays in the rotation. Somebody left like 3/4 of a bottle. First off, the Kirkland's bottles of vodka are freaking enormous, right? Left 3/4 of a bottle, and I was like, oh, man, somebody left cheap. It's surprisingly not that bad. It's pretty good. And then I walked by yesterday, it's like $18 for that bottle. I'm going to get my membership money back just in the liquor store. Forget the actual groceries. Place is incredible.
All right, I get this. I get that. You're trying to get them to advertise with the show.
No, I'm not.
That's what you're trying to do.
It doesn't matter. I can't sell or make commission on sales. All right? It doesn't matter to me whether they do or don't.
Well, there's a way.
I mean, if they want to come on board, sure. I'm not
there's a
gonna turn
way.
it down.
There's a way you can make money. So, but still.
I'm just saying, I will get my membership annual cost back just in the liquor store.
All right. So I am glad that anything that makes you happy just about anything that makes you happy makes me happy. I want to see if you have the same enthusiasm a year from now.
I'll let you know.
Okay.
But so far, so good.
Hopefully we'll still be here and doing this thing, and then you'll be able to tell me.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
All right, let's get some more, let's get some sprots in here, shall we? Let's get to some sports here for just a minute. I'm saving the expansion talk for next hour. Because A, I've browbeat the first hour audience over the head with it this week. And B, so that way once we get into it, we still got a hard out. Well, let's talk some other NFL stuff, shall we? We started to get into this the other day. I wish we'd have spent more time on it, but we'll do it now, mainly because we, ladies and gentlemen, on Saturday evening will be right here on the Fan Upstate, 97.7 FM Greenville, 97.1 FM Spartanburg, and all around the world on the Odyssey app for free, by the way. We will be playing for you an NFL preseason game. We will have Dallas taking on the Jacksonville Tigers. And I'm excited about that.
Wow. Why did we pick that game? I wonder why. Why would we pick Jacksonville? I mean, I don't. Why? All right, I'm done. No, I am. I'm done. I'm done, dude.
The rest of this one without headphones.
I'm done. I'm done. I said I'm done.
Trevor and Travis and the gang will be playing right here on the Fan Upstate Saturday evening.
No, you gotta say ETN because there's only one Travis. I mean, when you say Travis, everyone thinks Kelsey. They don't think ETN.
I mean, not if you're a Clemson fan.
Yeah, I think
right, there still is only one Travis.
I think even when they hear Travis, they think Kelsey. I mean, Rob, I gotta say this. What you just did, that was disrespectful. All right, continue.
Everything's disrespectful.
Super Bowl, baby. It's going to happen because of you.
Travis Etienne is going to play a big role for the Jags this year. He should have last year. He is a de facto rookie this year, right? Because in year one, he was playing under the worst running back in NFL, worst head coach in NFL history. Because Urban Meyer's not only bad, but he's bad at his job. Year two, obviously, he was dealing with that bang-up injury that really prevented him from getting anything going. He has so far 1,125 rushing yards, 5 touchdowns on the ground, 5.1 yards per rush, and 316 receiving yards after missing his entire rookie season due to a foot injury. And now Doug Peterson is all in on Travis Etienne. He said, quote, "It's one of the things that when we looked at his game this offseason back in February and March before the players came back, one of the things that we noticed was him attacking the hole downhill, shoulder square, attack the line of scrimmage, find that crease where a lot of times you'll see people try to bounce. So we were able to show him and really emphasize shoulder square, anticipating where the hole could be, and just trusting that. He's done an outstanding job. He's bought into that. He sees it. We've been able to show it to him. He's working on that in camp right now. We will always talk about speed through the hole, not to the hole, and he's really embraced that this training camp. That, to me, is the next step for him. That 11, 12, 13, now the yards start creeping up, and maybe he's pushing 1,700 yards as a rusher. Last year's season rushing champion was Josh Jacobs of Deratus. Josh Jacobs did 1,653 yards, and Doug Peterson is sitting here saying he could threaten Travis Etienne 1,600 to 1,700 yards this year. And here's the thing. I believe him. I think Travis Etienne has it. Now, I don't know that I'm quite ready to go. He goes 1,700 rushing yards. But I think Etienne rushing and passing yards combined could absolutely threaten a 2,000-yard season. I really do. You go watch some of the snaps that he has taken when he's been healthy. You go watch some of the things he did last year. And Travis Etienne has what a lot of running backs don't have when they get to the show coming up out of college. A well-rounded game, right? A lot of running backs making their way up. They come in, and they're excellent at something. They're excellent at power running, finding the hole, busting through the hole. They're excellent at being shifty and dancing when they need to. Get a lot of guys that are excellent pass catchers out of the backfield. Travis Etienne is a complete running back. Travis Etienne is about as complete as anybody can go. And here's the part that I love. For as much as we've talked about Doug Peterson being a guy who understands how to take advantage of quarterbacks, wide receivers, build a game plan around them, Doug Peterson knows how to build around a running back and the multiple tools that they put onto the table. Travis Etienne has everything. He can be a rampage runner, right? And I use that word because I remember reading the scouting reports of Travis Etienne coming into the draft. And there were multiple scouting reports that read, he runs like he's on a rampage. I love that. That's how Josh Jacobs runs. That's how Derrick Henry runs. Like you are the one thing standing between them and eternal happiness. They're coming through your chest. And I love that. But Etienne is also a dude who's got great hips. He is a dude that can take that power, and if he trusts that the hole is going to open where it's supposed to, can immediately get the hips turned and jet up into the hole. And Doug Peterson knows how to take advantage of that. But here's the one thing I like more than both of those things. A lot of teams, Lonzo, they got an RB1, and then they've got what? A third down back, right? That's our third down back. Travis Etienne is your third down back.
So some of them have a goal line back also.
Travis Etienne is your third down back. There is not a position, there is not a spot you can't utilize him in. And what that does is open him up for every aspect of the game, right? Miles Sanders is not a guy I'm going to throw in there as a power guy. I mean, he can occasionally take it between the tackles, but I'm not going to lean on. When I put Chuba Hubbard in the game, you kind of know where we're going, right? Well, if everybody's lined up in the middle, run him outside. That's not his game. He's not fast enough to do that. That's why you don't do it. You put Travis Etienne out there with Doug Peterson as your head coach. What can't they do with Travis Etienne? Nothing, right? There's really nothing. But I love that he is an every down back, and I love he's an every down back because of the fact that he runs with aggression, but he's also a patient running back, right? That's a tough balance to find. As Doug Peterson said, I want you to run through the hole, not to it. But there are spots where you've got to take that half-second delay to let a pulling guard get to where he needs to be, to let a pulling tackle get to where he needs to be, to let a guard get to the second level of the defense and get that linebacker turn. And I think Travis Etienne sees that, runs through that about as well as anybody else. This dude runs through contact. This dude runs hard through contact. I'm watching some of his Clemson clips while we're talking about it. I think Travis Etienne, Lonzo, deserves the title. Yak Daddy.
We'll see. We'll see. If he stays healthy, that's a possibility.
Love this dude, man. He's got the speed to cause pursuit angles to break down. He's got the power to run through them when they don't. And now he's got Doug Peterson. Here's the fun thing. I like Travis Etienne as a sneaky rushing leader, dark horse in the NFL for the same reason that I love Trevor Lawrence this year, because of Doug Peterson. I think that Doug Peterson getting passed on by the Eagles, despite the fact that they ended up going on to have some success anyway. Doug Peterson getting passed on by the Eagles was the best thing to ever happen to the Jacksonville Jaguars. That's a team who's been to a dance. Best thing to ever happen was Doug Peterson coming down. Not because Doug Peterson is a wildly incredible coach. Doug Peterson coming down is big for Trevor Lawrence. It's big for Travis Etienne. Therefore, it's big for the Jags. By the way, just for fun, Trevor Lawrence has the 6th shortest odds in the NFL to be your NFL passing yards leader this year, Lonzo. This might shock you. The shortest odds in the NFL belong to
Patrick Mahomes.
If it was anybody else, it'd be disrespect, wouldn't it?
Absolutely.
Justin Herbert is 2nd. Joe Burrow 3rd. Kirk Cousins 4th. Tua Tagovailoa 5th. Trevor Lawrence 6th. He is ahead of Dak. He's ahead of Garoppolo. He's ahead of Goff. For some insane reason, he's ahead of future first ballot NFL Hall of Famer Derek Carr. He's ahead of Aaron Rodgers.
How is that even possible? He's ahead of Derek Carr.
I have no idea. Derek Carr's first ballot Hall of Famer. I have no idea.
Is Derek Carr ahead of Aaron Rodgers?
Derek Carr is ahead of Aaron Rodgers, as a matter of fact.
What?
Yep, by 1. 28-1 odds for Derek Carr, 30-1 for Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers, for funsies, is tied with Geno Smith in the odds to be the NFL passing yards leader. They are both tied with Matt Stafford, Deshaun Watson, and Russell Wilson. Jalen Hurts checks in after them. Then it's Love, Jones, Pickett, Brock Purdy, and the rest. CJ Stroud, by the way, actually tied with Bryce Young. They are tied with Baker Mayfield and Daniel Jones.
Wow.
I don't have a problem with that, actually, because neither one of them really has the wide receiver core to threaten for that. Anthony Richardson, by the way, has twice the length odds as BY and CJ Stroud, because the Colts are bad. Speaking of the Colts, the Saints had a big free agent market meeting with Kareem Hunt yesterday, and then he left. And at the same time that it was announced that Jonathan Taylor was leaving the team to go rehab his ankle off campus, Kareem Hunt flew to Indy to have a meeting with them. Things are going great for Jim Irsay. Super duper.
Wait. Yesterday, you were telling me that Kareem Hunt was going to...
Yeah, then John Taylor walked out on the Colts.
Wow.
Yeah.
I thought it was a done deal the way you were talking about it yesterday.
I thought it was too. Then John Taylor walked out on the Colts. All right. Travis Etienne's going to be a beast this year. Actually, you know what? Why am I looking at passing yards leader? Let's go rushing yards leader odds this year. Let's see where old Travis stands up. Let's see. Oh, the odds. All right, here they are. Nick Chubb is your odds on rushing yard leader, followed by Derrick Henry, John Taylor. Bijan Robinson is a 10-1 fourth place. Saquon and Josh Jacobs tied after him. Then it's Tony Pollard, Breece Hall, and Ramondre Stevenson of New England are tied next. Cam Akers, Najee Harris, Alexander Mattison, Christian McCaffrey, and Kenneth Walker all tied. Then J.K. Dobbins, Justin Fields, Joe Mixon, Damian Peace, Miles Sanders, and Aaron Jones are all tied. Then Connor Pacheco, Rashad White, and Javonte Williams.
Wait.
Austin Eckler.
That far down. You put Pacheco that far down. Disrespectful.
Jalen Hurts, Anthony Richardson tied. Then Rashard Penny.
Did that hurt?
Dillon,
Things
Jahmyr
are still
Gibbs.
shaking. You hit that thing pretty hard.
No, I got it. David Montgomery, DeAndre Swift, and then James Cook, Antonio Gibson, and Daniel Jones. Travis Etienne doesn't even get on this list. You know what I call that, Lonzo? Disrespect.
They saw he was injured last year, and they're not sure if he's going to recover in time to actually put up any stats.
Look out for the Jags. They're being disrespected. I'll take some money on the Jags to win the AFC South. Back after this on the Rob Brown Show. Rob Alonzo and you. This is the Fan Upstate.
Here's the Carolinas' most trusted forecast on the Fan Upstate. Sunny today, high 89. Tonight, sun chance for storms late, increasing 5 to 70. Thursday, chance for rain and storms, high 87. Friday, slight chance for storms late, high 90, and sunny and 90s for the weekend.
We'll be back in a moment.
Currently, it's 77.
Master and apprentice. When Bryce Young was still in grade school. I'm Anish Shroff on the Carolina Panthers Radio Network, presented by Morris Jenkins.
I kind of like the under as well. But Kevin Goff.
I'm just a quick with BetQL. You want to beat the books? Another example of a team with a disappointing win-loss record. Who's a good bet? Are the St. Louis Cardinals. They're last place in the NL Central, but guess what? They are 13-6 in the last 19 road games. Sometimes trash is treasure, folks, and the Cardinals may be the biggest disappointment in baseball, but do not let that keep you from winning some bets. I'm Tristan Crick, helping you beat the books and bet smarter with BetQL. Download the BetMGM app today.
For the ones who work hard to ensure their crew can always go the extra mile, and the ones who get in early so everyone can go home on time. There's Grainger, offering professional-grade supplies backed by product experts, so you can quickly and easily find what you need. Plus, you can count on access to a committed team ready to go the extra mile for you. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
People who suffer from arthritis are getting real pain relief with exciting biologic therapies at QC Kinetics.
The success rate is there, and there's no better way to treat yourself when it comes to dealing with pain.
Meet Tyler Vale, co-founder of QC Kinetics, who says they can't cure arthritis, but they can treat the pain.
If you think of the tide coming in and out on the beach and what it does, it erodes the sand, right? Can't stop the tide, but eventually when the sand or the beach gets bad enough, we backfill that beach with sand so that we get generations of enjoyment with that beach again. And the same thing happens with your knee or your shoulder or your hip or your back. We want to backfill the problems that have happened to this point. I'm not stopping the tide, so I'm not stopping the arthritis, but I want to get generations of enjoyment out of those joints again.
Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation. Learn more about how restorative biologic therapies can get you real and lasting joint pain relief.
Call QC Kinetics, 864-448-3772. That's 864-448-3772. 864-448-3772.
There's nothing worse than coming home from a hot day to find out that your AC unit isn't working. When this happens, you need an HVAC company you can trust. A company like Priority Heating and Air. Their HVAC specialists will give your system a thorough checkup. And if you need a new unit, Priority Heating and Air is a proud distributor of the Coleman line of HVAC systems. So keep your family or business cool this summer and give Priority Heating and Air a call today at 591-1847 or find them online at PriorityHeatingandAirHVAC.com.
Priority Heating and Air.
We're going abroad for the first time in years. To Spain.
But we don't speak Spanish.
So we started using Babbel.
And started learning Spanish fast.
With Babbel, you can start having conversations in another language in just 3 weeks. Babbel's conversational method teaches you real-life words and phrases. And with Babbel's interactive bite-sized lessons, you'll remember what you learned.
¿Cómo te llamas? ¿Cómo te llamas? ¿De dónde eres?
¿De dónde eres?
When you learn a language, you want to actually use it. Babbel is designed with that goal in mind.
In just 3 weeks, we're starting to have conversations in Spanish.
Estoy muy emocionado para ir a España contigo.
Aw, he just said, I'm very excited to go to Spain with you. Vamos a tener mucha diversión.
And that means we're going to have so much fun.
Steven, I did not, but the fact that you can grab a whole chicken for like $7, big fan of that. And I've heard they're actually pretty delicious.
Sponsored by Jeff Martin Auctioneers. Don't miss the Jeff Martin Auctioneers Automobile Auction in Pelzer on Saturday, August 12th, featuring vehicles, boats, motorcycles, RVs, and more. Bid your way live on-site or online at jeffmartinauctioneers.com. Experience the difference. License 4283.
Coming up on a hump day episode of Offsides with Mark, Ryan, and Diesel, we are live on location, Ingalls in Spartanburg, 8004 Warren H. Abernathy Highway. Hope you come out and see us. I've got a very clear list of what quarterbacks can win the Super Bowl in 2023. We will reveal.
States.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. The Rob Brown Show's on your radio. It is the Fan Upstate. I am Rob, the great one Lonzo on the other side of the metaphorical glass. We did some college football back in hour number 1. We do some NFL in hour number 2. Speaking of things just not going great at all, we're starting to see unofficial preseason depth charts make their way out. Tampa Bay released theirs yesterday, Lonzo. QB1 for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is Baker Mayfield or Kyle Trask. That's literally what it says. QB1, Baker, or I guess whoever has the better pregame warm-up gets the nod. Not really sure how they go with an or.
No, there's going to be a race. Whoever's fastest gets to go.
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised. That team's going to be a dumpster fire this year, dude. Like, the whole concept of selling your soul, that's the Bucs, right? They sold their soul to get a ring with Tom Brady, And now they are reaping the benefits of that.
Obviously, they embraced the devil by bringing in, the biggest cheater in the history of all of football, and maybe mankind. But, if that's what you wanted to do, they got their Super Bowl out of it. They did. They got lucky. The Chiefs tackles got hurt suspiciously at the same time.
Tom Brady, he kneecapped him.
Yeah.
Yeah, snuck into their houses at night wearing a ski mask.
I might have known a guy. I mean, you never know.
And they looked at him. They were like, we'll never tell any, Tom.
Of course not.
You did what you had to do.
So you don't think it's worth it? You don't think it's worth jeopardizing your future for a while with the history that Tampa Bay has had as far as a team? For a long time, they were the cellar dweller, and then they managed to win a Super Bowl.
I mean,
under John Gruden.
Being worth it is making the assumption that you actively knew you were making a decision to do it. I don't think they did.
Well, according to some, I'm not putting these words in your mouth. Well, you brought Tom Brady in, you're going to win the Super Bowl. So you probably have pretty good odds thinking if you bring this guy in, you're going to win.
Look, here's what I'm going to say. There's two different stories going on with this Kyle Trask or Baker Mayfield stuff, right? Story number one is, again, Tampa Bay is a dumpster fire. I got a lot of love. I got a lot of respect for Todd Bowles, the defensive coordinator. Todd Bowles was out of his depth. I understand that when somebody comes in and does the things for you that Bruce Arians did for the Bucs, that you want to repay that, right? That you want to show a little loyalty. I get that. I like it. I respect it. But letting him name his successor and then going with a defensive coordinator when you built that team around Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Tristan Wirfs, etc. When you built that team around that offense and then you name the DC as the guy to run it, it was always going to be bad. The second thing is following the career trajectory or lack thereof of Baker Mayfield, right? I might have been wrong. I have said a number of times that I think Baker Mayfield is a victim of circumstance, right? He had a pretty good initial run in Cleveland. Then the Browns went full dumpster fire, and Baker ended up getting left out in the rain. Then he went to Carolina.
Hold on. Don't downplay what he did in Cleveland, getting them to the playoffs when they've been through how many quarterbacks before him until they finally got there?
394.
That's probably pretty accurate. And I don't think you can downplay that.
I don't either. Again, he had good success at Cleveland, and then Cleveland's management decided to just screw the pooch. And he got booed despite having success there. He goes to Carolina. He plays under Matt Rule, a man who thanks his lucky stars every day that Urban Meyer was as bad at his job in Jacksonville as he was, because otherwise Matt Rule would be the biggest failure of an NFL head coach in modern history, right? He gets there. Matt Rule is inept. Baker Mayfield may or may not have been OOU, one of us. And it went sideways. Then he leaves. I think Baker Mayfield's going to look back at a very long time from now and go, signing with Houston signing with Tampa Bay was the biggest mistake of my career, right? Now, I say all that, and I follow it up by going, there is, to me, a 50-50 chance here, Zoe, that either Baker Mayfield is once again a victim of circumstance because the Todd Bowles regime can't figure out how to pick a starting quarterback. The other side of that coin, Lonzo, is Baker Mayfield just honestly couldn't beat out Kyle Trask as QB1 in Tampa Bay. A team desperately looking for QB1, and he couldn't beat out Kyle Trask. I don't know which one is true. I will tell you that based on the coaching decisions of Todd Bowles since he took over as the HC and the TB, I lean towards the former.
Where did Kyle Trask play college at?
I believe he was a Gusty Gator.
Oh,
if I recall.
That's bad when he can't beat out a player from that school. Yeah, that's not good.
I'm all down for the underhanded jabs. Always have been. I will also point out that Kyle Trask is 25 years old and has got a pretty strong arm. So maybe Todd Bowles is just looking for, we just want somebody who can get it to Evans, who can get it to Godwin. And if we've got to take the bleep it, Chris is down there somewhere approach to offense, then that's what we're going to do. Because I actually think he might have a bigger arm than Baker Mayfield does at this point in his career. The reason I bring this up is that is one less team in the competition for this division that the Carolina Panthers have to worry about. I'm not worried about Tampa. Not in the least. Want to get to one more story while we're talking NFL here. So what do you make of this Eric Bieniemy, Washington, Ron Rivera stuff that's coming out? Ron Rivera said yesterday in a press conference that some players are, and I quote, concerned, end quote, by Eric Bieniemy's, and I quote, intensity. He's too intense for them.
It's one of the three I's.
Intensity, integrity. Forgot the third one.
Yeah, no, I don't remember what the third one was either.
Immorality.
No, I don't think that's it. I'm guessing that's probably not it. It doesn't go well with the other two.
The internet says intent, implementation, and impact. I don't think that's it. Okay, here they are.
Intelligence. James
James
jumped in.
James
there.
want to come through in the clutch.
Yeah.
Integrity.
Yeah, we couldn't think of intelligence. Wow.
Intensity.
Wow.
And intelligence.
Yeah.
This is really interesting. Ron Rivera, and you've had more eyes on and personal discussion with Ron Rivera than I have. Ron Rivera doesn't strike me as a not intense guy when he's coaching football.
Do you remember what team he played on?
Yeah.
For a Super Bowl. I don't think he played on a team with Singletary and not be intense.
Yeah. But my thought would be if some players came to me, and again, this is kind of one of those interesting points in time where we talked a lot with college coaches about this concept of letting players have a hand on the wheel, right? Now that the portal, now that NIL exists, a lot of the more successful coaches are talking about how they feel like they've got to let the players have a hand on a wheel. Like they get a say in the direction of the program. The NFL's worse.
Don't you immediately, though, think of how many jobs he got passed over for as a head coach and think that maybe this had something to do with it? Maybe this is the reason.
Because here's the reality. I know a lot of people had the reaction.
He sounds old school to me, but you can't be old school anymore.
A lot of people, I think, following on social media when everybody started laughing about this yesterday, I think a lot of people had this reaction of, suck it up, Buttercup. This football. I get that. But that ain't really the mentality. That's not the way it works anymore. These guys recognize the value that they have now. Of course they do. You're paying some of them hundreds of millions of dollars, right? They are the ones that are filling up 80,000 seat stadiums, not you. You've got to let players have a hand on the wheel. You've got to let players have a say. How many college coaches, hell, at ACC Media Days 2 weeks ago when I was asking coaches this, how many of those coaches were like, yeah, man, like we want the players to feel like it's their program too. The NFL's been that way more and longer, right? Players want to feel like they are part of the franchise, not just the workhorses, right? They want to feel like they're not just tools for the franchise, but that they are a part of its direction and leadership.
See, you're throwing this on football, but this can be applied at any job. I think, I know I have, but I'm guessing a lot of other people have worked somewhere where someone's just way too intense, way too angry, way too so much that you had to go to management and go, hey, you got to do, this is getting out of hand. You got to do something about it. So this, you're talking about, this is a business. These are employees. They're dealing with a manager who is, in their opinion, too much. So they're going to talk to the general manager, in this case, the head coach, and say, hey, this is not what we signed up for. And this is getting out of hand and it's hurting morale. And it's hurting everybody.
It's, yeah, I think that's it, right? Like It is one thing. Here's the thing. There's a lot of coaches in the NFL that are intense. But for players to be like openly outspoken about, all right, dude, it's a little much, bro. It's preseason week 1, right? But maybe let's chill just a little bit.
Which was some of the stuff they were saying about Urban Meyer. Same sort of thing about how intense he was and kicking people and getting on them and telling them they'd be fired and all this kind of stuff. It's the same thing, isn't it? I mean, what's the difference?
I suspect there is okay, let me rephrase that. In my ever so humble yet frequently correct opinion, there is a large gap between intensity in terms of we play intense, we practice intense. And I'm talking like the mood, not like in a campground. We play intense, we practice intense versus
That was a dad joke.
yeah, it was a
right?
dad joke.
Okay, all right.
That the old joke. Why can't you? You can't run through a campground. You can only ran through a campground because it's past tense. That's a dad joke. It's an excellent dad joke, if I may say so myself. There is a difference in intensity in the way you practice and the way you play versus intensity to the point that you're going overboard. We've been around, you've all been around people who have just gone overboard, especially at a point in time where you're supposed to be preparing, not doing the thing, right? So, like, I know the gut reaction from a lot of people is like, suck it up, be tougher, right? Be tougher. And honestly, it was kind of my first reaction too, because I'm like, wait a minute, you're talking about Eric Bieniemy, winner of multiple Super Bowl rings as an offensive coordinator? Like, I think I'd probably listen to that dude. But then some of the stories have started coming out, and I'm like, was it him or Andy?
You know, I saw something else that someone was pointing out about the quarterback docuseries and how you only see Bieniemy like twice. And you see everybody else on there, but you don't see him. And that's, I mean, you can start reading, go, oh, okay, that's why that was that. That's why that was that. We don't know how intense it's, but you got to be on a certain level to get multiple players to go and talk to the head coach.
Yeah,
There's got to be something there.
Exactly. There's two options. A, you really did build the softest roster in the NFL, which no. Or B, something is going wrong here. And I promise you that while you might get mad and you might think they're soft and you might think all these things, the last thing you want is a ticked off roster who's off with your coach. That'll go bad, as if it wasn't already going bad. Texas says, name 5 commanders with value. Sam Howell, baby! Hey, I just learned, Lonzo, that North Greenville will be hosting the University of West Florida Argonauts on September 30th in a little football.
You guys, okay.
UW, let's go! Rob Brown's going to be the enemy for a day. You know I got to say go Argos. Let's come back, wrap this hour up with a little more NFL talk. Then we'll get back to college football in hour 3 on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate.
Oh, no. Your turn. I mean, shut it down.
All right, Brian, we'll talk about that when we come back. Don't go anywhere. We're going to hit the head. Be right back.
hot shower.
Steve Smith Sr. just posted a picture of himself wearing a Steelers shirt. Don't love that.
Hey, Steven, to answer your question, nothing was playing in there. I don't get that. There's someone in the building, when they go in the restroom, they turn the Alexa completely off. And it's just, it's so oddly quiet in there.
The Rob Brown Show rolls on. It is the Fan Upstate. Rob Lonzo and you be a part of the program. 864-326-3663. Text us on thecarpros.com. Text line 71307. 71307. JD Wyatt has asked why Bijan Robinson is listed at number 3 on the Falcons depth chart. I have not seen the team put out their depth chart where he's listed at number 3, but all of the news organizations, ESPN, CBS, when you check their depth charts, they all have him at RB1. There's no chance Bijan Robinson's not RB1, right? They're going to lean heavy on Tyler Allgeier. Of course they are. He's a vet. Cordarrelle Patterson's going to get a lot of snaps just because of how versatile he is. But here's the thing. Bijan Robinson is as versatile as Cordarrelle Patterson, but he's also a traditional running back. He is going to be RB1. And if the Falcons are already good, it is going to be because of Bijan Robinson. Bijan Robinson, I think, has the talent to be better than Alvin Kamara. I really do. And that's saying a lot. I just don't think they're going to get the best out of him with Desmond Ridder as QB1. I don't. I don't think that with Mac Hollins, Scotty Miller, and Kyle Pitts and Drake London as their pass-catching core and Desmond Ridder as their quarterback, they're going to get that much out of him. I said, the Atlanta Falcons, to me, I'm hammering the under win total on Atlanta. I don't understand why Falcons fans are so damn excited right now. Like, they are up right now. They think Atlanta's going to be, I don't think they have a say. This division is Carolina versus New Orleans. I'm not backing off of that. Brian, our buddy Brian on the stream, he's over at practice today for the Panthers, said is the largest crowd he's ever seen at a training camp practice. And I don't doubt that. You got Panthers fans both there to see Bryce Young and to see Aaron Rodgers. I'm not surprised at that at all.
No. It's there's a bunch of Cougars there. You know why?
Oh, Zach.
You know why? Lots of ladies in their 30s and 40s wearing dresses out there. You know.
Gotta tell you how disappointing it is to hear in their 30s. A lot of Cougars in their 30s out there. As somebody working on the end of in my 30s, that stings just a little. Just a little. Anyway.
Yeah, but you're picturing it.
No, don't get me wrong. I get it.
Zach that's looking over and winking here and there.
Zach's on the sideline, just repeatedly running his hand through his hair for no reason at all.
See you at the Krispy Kreme later. You know.
Hey, girl, you ever heard of the clock? I got you. Baby club for my new baby. Old Zach. What a guy.
I'll be in the last booth on the left at the Beacon.
All right, let's stop there before we get ourselves into more trouble.
He might be listening because he ain't doing anything right now. So, you know, he could be listening.
Old Zach. Officially the backup. Keegan said it's going down at Delaney's. Yeah, boy. Yeah, boy. By the way, the NFL put out its top to bottom roster rankings. Went with the top Kansas City Chiefs. They've got Philly behind them, then Buffalo, Miami, Cincinnati, Dallas. The chart. Why? Dallas's defense is going to be really good. But outside of that, good luck.
America's team.
Chargers 7, Niners 8, Browns 10. Yeah, the Browns are 9th. Yeah, that's it. That's it. They got the Jets 10, the Ravens 11, the Seahawks 12, Denver 13, followed by Pittsburgh, Jacksonville, Minnesota, Detroit, the Giants, the Saints at 19, the Patriots 20, the Raiders 21, the Bears lead the Packers, then the Commanders, the Panthers at 25. It's a little low, but I've been telling y'all there's still work to do in Carolina.
Yeah, how in the world are the Broncos so high?
Yeah,
I mean, come on. Screw you, Sean Payton.
Falcons 26, Bucks 27, Titans 28, Texans 29, Colts 30, Rams 31. Shocker of shockers, the Cardinals dead last. What a fall for the Arizona Cardinals.
But if you look at the Call of Duty stats, Kyler, number 1.
Best in the game. All right, let's get back. We got to do some expansion talk. Ugh, yay. When we come back on the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate.
Does it bother you when you hear people talking about your old coach? I mean, because there was love for the guy for a long period of time, I'm sure.
Cam Newton is suing his ex-girlfriend and mother of his 4 children for not returning his 2017 Bentley truck. She thought the truck was gifted to her while they were dating, but he kept it in his name. Once they broke up, she moved out and never returned the truck. Ugh, Cam.
Wow. You out of money, dude.
Yeah, that's. I mean, I'm a Cam defender, but sheesh.
Is that the one who lived in Spartanburg? Because he did have a house in Spartanburg.
Did he?
Yeah. Is salami, is that a normal thing to talk about a home run? Go ahead, salami.
There's a couple of people that'll call it a salami is a grand slam.
Is it?
Yeah. Not
Okay. All right.
It's a grand salami.
Why? I mean, I know what a salami is, but I mean, why is that?
Because the first 4 letters are the same ish.
So you don't know.
I think it's just in a.
Hey, you're on a very popular baseball show on the weekend. You would think you would know everything baseball. If I ask you any question, you should know the answer.
I mean,
that's how that works.
Again, I think slam and salami are just close to each other. And in sports, we like to substitute words for the sake of sounding different. Nobody wants to just say the same thing as everybody else.
By the way, Chatter, I'm guessing the Bentley truck costs a lot.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure that's if it ain't a 6-figure ride, it's close to it.
Especially if it was custom made too, because you just got to think it possibly was. Because Cam likes to do that sort of thing, customize stuff. So, let's see. There's a 2018 Bentley Bentayaga for $87,000. There's a 2022 for $249,000.
Keegan said, "I bet the license plate was in the Wingding font."
That alone probably costs like about $10,000.
Yeah, I mean, if it's especially if it's a custom rig like those, the fact that those are stock models in the 90s.
Well, no, the one I talked
buying
about was from
stocks.
2 years
okay.
earlier. The 2022s are $250,000. So, it might have been by like a $500,000 truck by the time you got done with it. Uh-oh. Bryce Young, 3 for 6 and 7-on-7 red zone drill. It's over. JC with the pick, though. JC Horn's not hurt yet. Cool.
Good start.
QC in the first break.
QC in the first break.
Wait. Hurricane Dora. Did they name a hurricane after Dora? Yep, they did. I think there's certain names for hurricanes you need to skip. Dora would be one of them. He did make a lot of money, dude.
It's easy to think all money managers are pretty much the same, but at Fisher Investments, we're clearly different.
Different how? Sell high commission investment products, right?
A Bentley truck. I didn't know Bentley made trucks either. I mean, I guess it makes sense now.
Yeah, Adam. Hurricane Blippy. We'll just give them all the children's names and it'll make them seem less intense. I just skip the thing. Stop, Luke.
I'm the map. I'm the map. I'm the map. I'm the map.
Right behind Dora, Hurricane Swiper. I mean, I think I'm okay with them naming villains because hurricanes are villains, but they don't do.
All hurricanes should be named after villains.
Yeah.
Hurricane Veda. Hurricane Megatron. Hurricane Skeletor.
Hurricane Palpatine, the one you do not want to see coming. Isn't going to come back later. It's weird.
Yeah! Yeah! Easy, LA. I know you're excited.
He's got to jump in there where he won't get beat by the Miz on the mic.
Ladies and gentlemen, the third, the final, the best, the money hour. The Rob Brown Show goes now. This is the Fan Upstate. Howdy, y'all. Welcome in. It is Wednesday. Midweek edition rolls on. Rob Brown, the great Lonzo, and you. You want to be a part of the show? 844-326-3663. Or hit us up on the carpros.com text line at 71307. Start your text with FAN, F-A-N.
Yeah, don't go on the stream right now. Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, the X. Don't go on the stream right now because they're just
the X.
The stream has gone a little crazy with the hurricanes.
Yeah, Hurricane Dora.
Yes, Hurricane
is on its way.
Dora.
Hurricane Dora.
I think it may have just hit Hawaii.
And then it was just a bunch of completely insensitive hurricane jokes.
Yeah, like Hurricane Nemo.
Let us get back to this conference expansion stuff, and I want to start with this, and I want to I'm not.
Nope.
I regret everything. It's fine. It's fine.
I'm just a man of the people, representing the peeps. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean?
You don't have to like it. We do have to talk about it.
That's a no for me, dog.
And it's, I'm going to say this and it's going to sound awful, Alonzo. It's not up to you, but here's the thing. It's not up to me either. All right. As I mentioned multiple times, let me start with.
You just said, don't make me come back there.
Let me start with clip number one. Clip number one is a conversation that took place yesterday on the 4-letter between Heather Dinich and Mike Greenberg, where they were lamenting the direction in which college football is headed. And I want to play it, and then I'll address it. Here is Heather Dinich and Mike Greenberg.
Well, I think it.
Okay. So, a couple things here. I will start with this, and it is the emotional, sentimental angle. The emotional, sentimental angle that you heard Heather go on there. We are losing the things that made college football feel special.
Forgot to say poof.
Poof. It's gone. I've been thinking about this a lot since Monday. Monday, we did the show where we talked about the death of the Pac-12, which is pretty much a thing now. We talked about the fact that, or at least I talked about the fact that I feel that this is, without a question, a historic time period for college football, something that we will be talking about for years to come. This is not a school or two changing conferences. This is an entire conference evaporating overnight, effectively.
But it's happened before. It's happened multiple times with other conferences.
Not like the Pac-12, or at least not in the modern era. Like, sure, the old Southwestern Conference or the old Pacific Conference went bye-bye.
When did the modern era start? I'm not joking. When do you consider the modern era? Because people say that a lot now. I want to know when that began.
I mean, for me, I would probably say in the early 90s. I would say.
So when your generation.
No, I think just in general. I think at the point in time.
I'm not cracking on your generation. I'm trying to figure out when this started.
I would say it was probably the late 80s, early 90s, at the point where college football stopped being something that you watched on regionally specific networks and started being big-time national broadcast. I would say is around that time. And again, forget all of that. If you can cite me a point where a conference as influential and as large as well as old as the Pac-12 just dying, not changing names, not rebranding, not having a team or two leave and a team or two come in, but I mean just effectively ceasing to exist.
When was it? Was it the Big East? When did that disappear?
The Big East did not disappear in a 24-hour span.
I know,
the
but
Big East kind of
it's
fell
gone
off over a period of a number of years. And even then, if we can be honest, the Big East was a basketball conference, not a football conference.
I'm not discounting the severity and everything that's going on with this expansion and how this is going to be, but we've seen things like this happen. Maybe not to this degree, and I think it makes it easier to deal with.
I'm going to disagree. I don't think you've ever seen anything like what just happened to the Pac-12. If you can cite to me a thing, and the fact, here's how I know you haven't seen anything as impactful as the Big 12, because you and when I say you, I'm using the royal you, are trying to think of something. If something like this had happened before, you wouldn't have to try
I just think
to come up with it.
It's an old school way of thinking. I just believe that fans now especially go, who's my team playing this week? I mean, do you want the rivalries to continue? Of course, because a lot of things are built on that from your childhood up. But other than that, who's my team playing this week? Oh, they brought in some new blood. Cool. We're still going to win, but who's my team playing this week?
So,
and I get it that maybe I'd feel different if it was a conference I pulled for dissolving, but I don't think I would.
So I said yesterday on the show that I do think a lot of the apathy towards this discussion in this area comes from the fact that the two primary conferences represented in this area and the third conference that we're concerned with here are three of the four conferences that aren't really being impacted, right? The Big 12 is impacted because it is trying to grow and stay alive and surpass the ACC. But the SEC is fine. We're going to hear from Greg Sankey here in just a minute. The ACC is not fine, but basically it's got everybody in that conference in handcuffs right now. So nothing is going to change in the ACC till 2036. Or 2036. And then there's the Big Ten, which is just like the SEC. It's fine.
Is this as impactful as the transfer portal or NIL? Because I don't think so.
More. I think it's more.
I don't think it is though.
I think the transfer portal is more impactful for players, for sure. I think NIL is more impactful for players, and I do think the NIL has a huge impact on the way recruiting works and all that. Dave Clawson, the Wake Forest head coach the other day, said he had 5 or 6 players who were offered between $500,000 to $1.5 million to go play for other schools. Once again, tell us who they are and tell us what the offers were, or stop, right? Just stop. It's a victim mentality. Everybody's out to get me. All right, well, prove it. Prove they're out to get you, and then I'll help. But if you're not going to name names or give dollar amounts or name coaches or schools or whatever, then I got nothing to respond to you with.
The man's out to get me.
Right.
Can you take care of the man?
Just like if I walk outside and there's a guy going, they're out to get me, I'm just going to write you off until you tell me who they are.
By the way, it would be funny if you showed up and did that, but please don't do that.
Don't do that.
Okay, because you'll freak him out
Actually,
if you do that.
go yell it at practice. Go yell it at Aaron Rodgers. He'll probably believe you. All right. So in response to what Heather and Greeny had to say, are we losing the things that make college football special? Yes and no. But here's the thing. It's the inevitable conclusion of the path that college football has been going down for a very long time, right? In fact, I read a quote yesterday from Greg Sankey. Sankey yesterday was on the Feinbaum show. I got a clip from him. We'll play here in just a minute. Where Sankey was like, I felt a tinge of sadness that the Pac-12 is going away. I felt a tinge of sadness. And I'm like, dude, it's kind of your fault. I mean, not directly and only Greg Sankey's fault.
Our lamented
kind of your
demise of the Pac-12.
Yeah, don't tell me you have a tinge of sadness for the death of the Pac-12, Greg Sankey, when your conference's expansion and need for more money is the reason that conference is dead. Your need for more cash is the reason the Pac-12 effectively doesn't exist anymore. And again, I get it. It's always been about more money. It's always going to be about more money. As long as schools are constantly in this arms race for bigger and better and locker rooms, right? Every year, we get more stories coming out about school X just put this awesome thing in their locker room. And then a year later, we got ADs and football coaches asking the boosters for more money so they can get a newer, nicer locker room. That's better than the locker room that hadn't even lost that new locker room smell yet. That is the reason we're going the direction that we're going. You get to pick what matters more to you, the things that make college football special or the money. Now, I will say this about the Southeastern Conference, and this is something I cannot say about the Big Ten. At least the Southeastern Conference is maintaining a geographical footprint. At least the Southeastern Conference, with the exception of Texas and Oklahoma, are Southwestern, but those are at least growing a little bit out. We're not reaching literally coast to coast like the Big Ten. Now, for the record, I don't care. I have more concern, as we've talked about a lot the last couple of weeks.
Big Ten staying north, by the way. It's all northern teams.
That's fine.
So
but
geographically,
you are
they're
going
just
from Jersey to Washington.
Yeah, but they're all north. So you just talked about the South, and so they're just all north. What's the difference?
The difference is about 1,300 miles between the Big Ten's two furthest away schools in the
Which
SEC.
is an extra hour and a half on a plane.
I get what you're saying, and I
yeah.
respect the Big Ten defense here. The SEC is far more contained geographically than the Big Ten is right now. But again, to me, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to football. The point that I was making with Eli Drinkfitz earlier this week was, I understand what he's saying. Because yes, when the Washington softball team has a road game at Rutgers and they literally have to travel across the country and that game's on a Tuesday, unless the colleges start making special exceptions for athletes, right? If you got a road game at Rutgers on a Tuesday, you don't have to go to class on Wednesday, in which case That's not really college anymore, is it?
You know, there's this thing called online college, and a thing that happened during COVID where people, did all their classes online. Your plane ride's a little bit longer, but you know what you can do on your plane ride? You know what you can do, Rob? You can do your schoolwork.
Yes, because I'm going to ask you, hey, what I need you to do is get on this plane, do your day schoolwork while you fly to Rutgers, play a 7:00 game, then do your schoolwork on the fly back. As somebody who,
So
listen,
dude, I mean, that's real. What else are you doing on the plane ride? So this way the plane ride is productive.
I don't know. Maybe focusing on the sport that you're getting paid a scholarship to play, right? I tell you right now, if somebody comes to me 30 minutes before a show and goes, I need you to focus on this spreadsheet before you do your show, the show's going to suck.
All right. I've watched a lot of softball, and you're acting like we've never done an entire show on the fly before. But
most of our shows are on the fly.
Yeah. So I don't know how much film that you watch in softball. I mean, are you looking at tendencies of the outfield?
Yes.
Are you looking at? Yeah, I don't.
Yes.
I don't.
This is not beer league softball.
I don't. I'm not buying it.
That's fine. You don't have to. You're wrong.
Do your home. I'm not. Do your homework on the plane.
Would you like me to go ahead and book Clemson softball coach on the show so she can tell you how much work goes into breaking down this stuff?
I mean, you could do that, but we've established we don't have Clemson guests according to the text line. So I mean,
except all the ones we do.
Yeah.
Anyway, the point here is you can't ask. You're asking a lot out of every not football player that is an athlete at your school.
It comes down to, and people don't want to say this, but unless you're in football or basketball, you're kind of an afterthought anyway.
100%.
I mean, so in the end, you're going to get some
football or basketball. Unless you're football, you're an afterthought. If it disparages basketball at a basketball school, they might be a little more reluctant, but it's not going to change.
It's going to sound cruel, but if you want to have a bigger voice, make more money in your sport. So until then, football is going to rule. So if you got to take a little bit further plane ride, you got to take a little bit further plane ride. You can find ways to do things on the plane that can be productive for your game or for your schoolwork.
I hear all that from Heather. I hear all that from Greenberg, and I understand, and I get it, right? I get it. I understand. But let's be abundantly clear. This is the inevitable outcome, the inevitable conclusion of a money-driven sport. It just is. You are no different than the NFL. Well, we have the rivalries. And it's great. And don't get me wrong. I sit down for every rivalry game, every Red River shootout, I'm in. Every Civil War, I'm in. Every border battle, I'm in. I will watch every rivalry game I can put my eyeballs on. A lot of those rivalry games are going to stay. I would not be shocked to see the state of Oregon get involved to make sure that the Oregon State game happens every year as a non-conference game.
Yeah, I was going to say there's this thing where you schedule a non-conference game. You just make sure you schedule that every single year, like what Clemson and South Carolina do every year.
Absolutely. Florida State do it. You schedule it every year. But again, and this is, again, one more reason that I'm excited we're going. If we were still in a 14 playoff, Oregon State don't schedule that game. As much as the rivalry games matter, what matters more is going to the playoffs, trying to win a natty, and getting all the bonus money that comes along with it, right? With a 12-team playoff, you got a little more room for error. Those games now go back to mattering. I don't know why we're making this so damn convoluted. It's a real simple setup, right? It's a real simple setup. As long as the conferences can make more money, they're going to keep doing this. The separation between the haves and the have-nots is irrelevant. It's just like real life. There will never be enough money for Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk. And so they're going to keep pushing, and they're going to, again, I know I'm going to go on a rant here that's going to get a lot of people upset with me. I don't care. They're going to keep paying employees as little as they can so that they can keep upping the B in their wealth number, because there's never going to be enough money. The conferences are the same way. There will never be enough money for the SEC. There will never be enough money for the Big Ten. And if it kills football at California and Stanford, they don't give a damn. Greg can say all he wants. I'm a little sad that the Pac-12 died, but I'm not as sad as I am happy that we got all this money coming in now. That's all it is, kids. like all day. And you as fans can go, I don't want to lose the things that make college football special. I got news. I don't either. I love college football just like you guys do. I just got stupid excited in the last hour when I found out that the school I graduated from, the University of West Florida, is playing a game here in Greenville on September 30th. Take everything off my calendar. I can't wait to go watch the Argos play. I'm very excited, but
Well, you have to get new gear because
I still got all my
yeah,
UW
does
stuff.
it all fit? Though?
I might get a New Jersey.
Okay.
I might get a New Jersey.
They probably have upgraded since you've been there. It's been
Very
a while.
much. Very much. And on top of that, my old jersey definitely will
That's
not fit.
what else, just looking out, man.
I don't want to lose the things that make college football special either. That's why it's special. But the reality is that as long as the conferences can start churning in money, they don't care. Hey, Florida, keep doing the Mr. Two-Bit stuff. Hey, South Carolina, keep thumping Sandstorm. Hey, Clemson, keep running down the hill. Why? Because all those things are free. And we can do those and go, see, we love the tradition. But if the SEC can find another school to get its hands on that make it more money, they're going to do it. And if those schools can get more money, they're going to do it. And if another school has to die or become irrelevant in the landscape of college football for that to happen, they don't care. Sankey can say all day, I'm sad about the Pac-12. Didn't stop him, did it? Did it? Didn't stop him. Didn't stop him from getting Texas and Oklahoma. Doesn't stop him from the rumor mill churning that they're going to be looking at the schools in the ACC when they figure out how to get the GOR done away with. This is why I get so frustrated, because I listen to folks respectfully, because I like Heather Dennis. I think she does great work. I listen to folks like Heather go, we're losing all the things that make college football special. I'm not disagreeing with that sentence. I'm just saying finish the thought. It's money. It's all it is. It's money. In fact, you know what? I know we're late. I don't care. Let me play clip number 2 real quick. This is Greg Sankey. This is what Greg Sankey said yesterday on the Paul Feinbaum Show. Take a listen. So,
Hey, Rob, what did he just say? Because he said money shouldn't be in the lead, but I know I'm simple, but I didn't hear what should be. What's supposed to be in the lead if money's not supposed to be in the lead?
really glad you said that, big fella, because I had the exact same reaction. Fine, Greg, money's not in the lead. What is? What is? What is the decision-making power that you put above money? Because I got to tell you, every decision you guys have made has been about money, or at least it looks that way on the surface. So if you're going to tell me that all of this movement in college football is not centered around and driven by money, then please explain to me exactly what the hell is. College football is, and it is a sport that I love, let me be abundantly clear, flipping the old double bird thumbs out at its fans because of the money. And you don't believe me? Find me any quote from Greg Sankey or any of the other commissioners where they tell you what this is about. Because you hear a lot of, well, it's not all about the money. There's other things that go in these decisions. Yeah, I'm sure there are. Tell me one. Give me one. Tell me one thing it's about if it's not about the money being a driving factor, because you haven't done that yet. And if you haven't done that yet, why am I going to believe that it's true? I am so tired of all of this. Are we losing the stuff that makes college football special? Yeah. The regionality and the rivalries are at threat. I'm not arguing with that. I'm just saying, can we stop pretending it's about anything other than the folks at the top of the college football hierarchy making more money? Because that's all this is. It's all it's ever been, and it is working towards its inevitable conclusion. There are going to be the haves. There are going to be a handful of teams that have enough money and resources to compete for the championships we care about. And then there's going to be a bunch of cows and Stanfords that get left in the dust, and we end up with a second-tier product that nobody cares about. Let's take a break. Back after this on the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate.
You see.
All right, guys, we got a live read. Stay right there. We'll be right back.
Gamecocks in the opener. I'm Mark Ryan.
All right, so I've had this discussion for years. I got to say it again. Can you slam something if you use it all the time? So can you slam professional wrestling when you're constantly using terms from professional wrestling? Because that really bothers me when a wrestling fan is looked down upon, but the people who look down upon them are still using phrases, catchphrases from famous wrestlers. Just it's hypocritical, I guess. It just bothers me. But maybe that's just me. Don't look down on me and something that I'm into and then start using stuff that's tied to what I'm into. It shouldn't make me angry. But yeah, James, you should not be allowed to use that phrase. And anything you do, if you are not a wrestling fan and you look down on people who are, stop using that phrase, because we all just heard someone use that phrase. If you're listening on the radio, you cannot say to be the man, you got to beat the man, and then look at someone and make fun of them because they like wrestling. You can't do that. And you can tell him that I said that because I've told him that. I'm not going to agree or disagree with you, Kevin. I'm just saying, stop using wrestling phrases if you are not. I mean, you don't have to be a wrestling fan, but just don't look down on me as one and then use stuff that's tied to wrestling. I don't know how to answer that, Sean, because I don't want to be prosecuted. He's not paying attention, so.
I was listening to the commercial to make sure that they put the right one in.
Yeah, just like brother. You can't say brother, Sean. You can't say that. You can't say it. If you're looking down on a wrestling fan, you cannot say brother. You can't do that. You're not allowed unless it's your brother.
All right, let me go to clip 4. Pete Thamel has been on the forefront of all of the expansion stuff. He stayed there as the ACC leaders recently held a meeting to discuss potential further expansion. Thamel dove in on what the latest round of conversation sounds like. Here he is, Pete Thamel. Here's my question, because I hear the academic side of it all the time, right? They're looking to add elite academic institutions. I am struggling to understand the honest reason why, right? It seems like it really does seem like a bragging right more than anything else. It seems like a bragging right. Like, we care about if you can make us more money. If you also happen to be an elite academic school, that's just something we can print on the pamphlet to look good, right? If I'm dating a supermodel, I can brag. If I'm dating a supermodel who is also the CEO of a company, that's just extra icing on the cake. I don't think any of these schools, like ESPN's not going, hey, ACC, we're going to up your grant of rights money because Stanford's got the, number 2 ranked journalism school or whatever. I don't really get all that. But basically you're hearing the begrudged schools. We know who those are. Clemson, Florida State, North Carolina, Miami. Are not super receptive to the concept of adding a couple of Pacific Coast schools to the Atlantic Coast Conference. And I get why. Adding Cal and Stanford is not going to be enough for the ACC to add any leverage to go to the grant of rights holders and say, give us more money. And if the ACC can't go to the grant of right holders and say, give us more money, then Clemson, Florida State, Miami, and North Carolina don't get helped at all unless they go to the uneven revenue distribution model, which, we talked about that like a lot of times, but there's only 4 schools, if there's 4, that are going to want to do that, right? The ACC already put into play the performance-based revenue model. That is to say, the more better you do, the more money you will get. But that's a drop in the bucket of what these schools are looking for. Like it's a first step in a marathon. It's the first step of a 100-yard dash towards where they're trying to get. Texter said, where'd that text go? Rob, you're wrong. The ACC is a dead conference walking. FSU and Clemson will be gone by next year, and the ACC will tumble like the Pac-12. No more. That's from Spur Daddy. Spur Daddy, appreciate the text. Here's the thing.
Absolutely. If those 2 teams leave, the ACC will crumble.
The most important thing in college football right now is the ACC's current grant of rights agreement. Not because that's what's going to keep Clemson and Florida State in. It's not. It's what's going to keep Clemson and Florida State from bailing soon and doing so for like a minute. It's like I said, the equation the SEC and the Big Ten are looking for when they consider FSU, Clemson, Miami, North Carolina, Virginia Tech, Duke, maybe Pitt. The equation they're looking at is money added to conference revenue minus money shelled towards a buyout, right? The buyout for FSU and Clemson in the ACC right now is well north of $100 million. There will come a point somewhere down the line later in the GOR when the exit fee decreases dramatically, where the amount that they'll have to pay out to buy those schools out is lesser than the amount that those schools will bring into whatever conference they get added to overall. And that is when that happens, but I don't think it's next year. I don't think it's a year after that. I'm thinking 4 years down the road is the earliest. Now, that being said, right now, I think we're at a point where, and there is the extra variable in there of where the Big 12's or Big 10's break-even point, the SEC's break-even point, and maybe the Pac-12 or the Big 12's break-even point is, right? There's a point somewhere that the break-even point is different between the 3 conferences that are bidding for expansion right now. And there is one more variable, which is the ACC itself, right? But I think we're kind of in a spot where we will now be in a holding pattern for a while because of who's left to be grabbed up, right? Nobody in the ACC today, I don't think, is available to be grabbed up. And I don't think they're available to be grabbed up because of that grant of rights. Nobody in the Big 12 is available to be grabbed up for the same reason. So all that's out there right now is what? Cal, Stanford, Notre Dame. That's it. At least in terms of teams that would bring in revenue. And honestly, I don't know if Cal and Stanford are in that group. Same respectfully, to Washington State and Oregon State. I think those two might be a little bit more profitable than Stanford and Cal, but not by a whole heck of a lot. So I think we're in a bit of a holding pattern. The next thing that breaks is the ACC schools do indeed find a loophole that lets them out of the grant of rights. I don't see that happening. Or Notre Dame goes somewhere. Clip 3, Greg McElroy, yesterday. was on ESPN and was asked about the possibility of Notre Dame being the next linchpin that moves. Here's what he had to say. Bingo. The linchpins that are holding the next round or spurt or whatever you want to call it of conference expansion in place are the ACC's GOR and Notre Dame. What does Notre Dame gain by going to the ACC? Really not all that much. If anything, Notre Dame to the Big Ten makes more sense because they could do so and make a deal where the Big Ten still has to allow Notre Dame's games to be featured on NBC. But again, the Big Ten's not going to go for that, right? They're not going to love that idea. Even if Notre Dame is the next crown jewel, you want to add to the crown, not make them the crown jewel. You think Ohio State's going to be thrilled if Notre Dame comes in and gets all their games broadcast and Ohio State's got to play around them? Probably not. So I do think we're in a lull, and I think we stay in a lull until either the ACC schools that want out find a way out, which is unlikely. Notre Dame decides to go to either the Big Ten or the ACC, unlikely. Or the ACC decides to get desperate and make a move on Cal, Stanford, Oregon State, or Washington State. And again, of all of the moves that seem unlikely, that's way up there, right? Predominantly because does Florida State and Clemson, who are unhappy right now, do they feel a bit better with, hey, we're going to add another $3 million a year to your conference payout, and in return, every other year you get to take a trip, maybe two, out to sunny California. You get to fly your team once, maybe twice a year out to Palo Alto, out to Corvallis. Is that going to fly for you? You feel better now? Probably not, right? Probably not. It's a lot of extra work for one or two more games for what? A couple $1 million bucks. It's not great. So I think we're done for now. I think we're done for a little while, to be honest. Now, one more clip. Let me get 4A, and then we're done. Thamel went on to report that as far as making a decision within the ACC for Stanford, Cal, Oregon State, Washington, that there is an unofficial deadline that is being discussed of August 15th. Here's the thought behind that. All right, so there you go. Thamel seems a little bit more confident that the ACC is probably toast in the next year or two. I'm not. I don't see it playing that way. I think that GOR is ironclad. Why? Because if it wasn't, FSU and Clemson would be in the Big Ten right now, in my opinion. All right, where do y'all come down? Let me know. Let's take a break. We'll come back, wrap this show up. Rob Lonzo and you. The Rob Brown Show rolls on. It is the Fan Upstate.
fan upstate. The Braves beat the Pirates 8-6 on Tuesday. Orlando Arcia hit a 2-out, 2-run double in the ninth. Atlanta rallied from 3 runs down to beat the Pirates. Ronald Acuna Jr. hit a leadoff homer, but left the game in the sixth when he was hit on the left elbow by a pitch from Pirates reliever Colin Holderman. The Braves said X-rays were negative. Atlanta's lead atop the National League East remains 10.5 games over Philadelphia. The Carolina Panthers set for their first preseason game. That's this Saturday afternoon at home against the Jets. The Panthers released their first depth chart of the season on Tuesday. Bryce Young, the team's rookie quarterback and first overall pick in this year's draft, is
I try to be careful about the audio heavy segments, but for this stuff, I try to jam it all into a segment or two just to be done with it.
There are other avenues that you could be, going through, like the radio or the Odyssey app, where you can actually hear them. Sorry, that's just. It's all Rob's fault because he got us in Facebook jail because of soccer.
Cowboys owner Jerry Jones was asked if he was surprised the two sides couldn't find common ground. Jones says not really, but he called the situation.
Sent you a video someone posted from camp. Yeah.
It is packed out there.
They're there to see that Aaron dude.
That Aaron guy. I got to look at the rest of the practice schedule. If there's a practice that goes after the show's over, I'd like to roll over there and watch it.
Still got to get a ticket, though, don't you?
Oh, we can put it for media passes, I'm sure.
Success is getting your foot in the door, but now you want to take the next step.
Yeah, all their practices are while we're on the air.
For more than 75 years, University of Maryland Global Campus has helped working adults like you succeed again. Choose from more than 125 degree and certificate programs with online and hybrid courses. Apply now with no application fee and get started August 16th. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate by Chev.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? Just go to 4hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation.
Well, I guess I will echo that then, Trey. Happy birthday.
100% online.
Yeah, dude. Happy birthday.
Go to 4hims.com/joy.
And no, I don't know if Ryan wears Crocs. I don't look at his feet. But Rob, lives in Florida most of his life. Do you wear Crocs?
Never worn Crocs.
Okay. Was that a fashion choice, or are you just anti-Croc because it was so popular?
I'm not anti-Croc. I've never looked at them and been like, yeah, I want to try them. I've heard a lot of people say they're incredible. Like, a lot of people I know have been like, I was anti-Croc, and then I ended up trying one, and now I'm just squarely in the Croc pie.
So you could be just like you were with Costco, holding out, and you could jump on the Crocs.
My life.
Next thing you know, instead of hats on your wall, there'll be Crocs like all lined up. Does Cody Decker wear Crocs?
I don't believe Cody. Cody's way too fashionable for that.
Does Mario wear Crocs?
It would not shock me if Mario wore Crocs.
I don't wear them because they look like they'd be really warm. I know they're open, but they look like they'd just be really warm for some reason. My granddaughter wanted to know if they made adult shoes that light up because she just got some tennis shoes that do the light thing. And I looked it up and they do. Now I want some.
I'm sure I'll tell you, I want some Heelys. I do.
I'd kill myself on Heelys. When I was younger, though, I would have had a blast with those.
Heelying everywhere.
Oh, especially in the hallway out there.
Yeah.
You get Heely all around.
Yeah. That's all I need is one more thing to make me walk less.
Yeah, I'd love to. Yeah, I'd love to Heely past the boss's office and just not say anything. Just do a couple laps.
From the Ingalls Market Studio,
States. 97.7 FM Greenville. 97.1 FM Spartanburg.
Always live from the Free Odyssey app. CBS Sports Radio. And now, the Rob Brown Show presents.
Time to tell you what the X is going on, or ask what the X is going on, and Rob will answer with an explanation.
I'll do my best.
Was that dad to do the dad thing?
I see what you're doing there. I liked it.
I'm trying really hard. I really am. All right.
Okay.
The first thing that's Xing yo is Neymar and Mbappe. And I never had a chance to say Mbappe on the air. Now I have.
Would explanations not have been an appropriate segment title?
No, because you got to give the topic and then you'll explain. So
Right.
I mean,
and we give an explanation.
yeah, but the topic is more important than I don't know, dude.
Anyway, who's trending? Kylian Mbappe and who? Neymar.
Neymar, yes.
So we're in a weird little cycle as we're starting to see transfers take place all around the Premier League, La Liga, etc. Kylian Mbappe and Neymar are two of the most sought after players in the world. I do not know if they are being trended because there's a potential transfer or some contract buys that are out there for those two guys. Mbappe was offered $1 billion to go play in the Saudi Arabian Pro League. I don't think he's accepted it yet.
Pretty sure he turned that down.
Turned it down?
Believe so.
Good.
Yeah, because I'm where you go to for soccer news,
Yeah.
of course. The next thing that's Xing yo is Spartanburg.
So there are videos going now of the joint Jets-Panthers practice taking place over in the Berg right now, and it's friggin' packed, dude. Like packed. Like in the years since I've been here, and granted, this is only this is my third preseason camp. I've never seen anything. It looks like a football game, dude. It looks like they decided to just play an NFL game out in the field, and everybody started filing in. It's incredible, man. It's incredible. And why wouldn't it be, right?
Yeah, so that hatred for a certain quarterback apparently is not as widespread as some people would have you believe.
Yeah, I think people are obviously there to see the two quarterbacks without a doubt.
They're there to see Aaron Rodgers. If Aaron Rodgers wasn't, if it was just, if Dallas is in town, is the crowd that big? No.
For Dak?
No. I mean, there are a couple quarterbacks who bring in a crowd like that. Aaron Rodgers is one of them. Mahomes, if Kansas City was there practicing, I mean, I can't think of too many more, but those two for sure.
For sure.
All right. The next thing that's trending is Kevin Brown.
Okay, so last night, Kevin Brown is the Orioles play-by-play broadcaster that got suspended by the Orioles because he had the audacity to read numbers that were true on the air. Last night at the Orioles game, the Orioles fans started a free Kevin Brown chant that echoed around the stadium for well over half a minute. And of course, it is hilarious to watch the Orioles get absolutely dogpiled. This is hilarious to me, Zoe. The Orioles are now, I believe, a half game back of the Atlanta Braves for having the best record. The Braves did have a comeback from behind win over the Pirates last night. They are now 71-40.
It's not over? It's not.
They're 1-1 against Pittsburgh. Let's not pretend like we're on a heater right now.
So we're on the brink.
The Braves now hold a 1-win advantage over the Orioles. The Orioles, a team that have been trashed for a long time, currently have the second best record in Major League Baseball. They have a 2-game lead on the rest of the AL Beast. They have a 3-game lead on the Texas Rangers right now. We should be talking about how incredible this Orioles resurgence is. And instead, what are we talking about? They suspended their play-by-play guy for having the stones to go, "We've been bad at Tampa." And that was it. Ridiculous. Love seeing the support for that guy. It's awesome.
All right. And the last thing that's Xing yo, sorry, I said trending earlier. I got to, I'll reprimand myself later.
Unbelievable.
The next thing that's Xing yo is Hard Knocks.
Hard Knocks, episode 1 dropped last night. You watched it, yeah?
It was very good. By the way, the resounding theme is Aaron Rodgers is cool. That's not what I heard. All the players are saying it through it. Granted, the producers and everyone who's doing it may have made it look that way, but the players look genuinely excited about him being there.
I would just like to say, ladies and gentlemen, as we end the show today and move on, that Lonzo and I are both team bucket hat. All right? We're both very pro bucket hat. We'll discuss
Look at you, Sean Payton.
We'll discuss the pros of the bucket hat tomorrow with Rashad Beard, and we'll maybe talk some Panther football as well. Have a great rest of your Wednesday. Don't drink and drive. I'll punch you in the face. Thank you for listening. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you back here tomorrow to do it all over again, but better on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate later. Yeah!
I don't know if I do that, Trey, because believe it or not, he might actually read the stream and see what you're doing. It's kind of on the fan stream. I'm just saying, you know. I've seen the person in question read, so I know he knows how to do that. So yeah, he might actually, you know, probably shouldn't do that. Wow, not the first time he's backtracked on something he said.
I take it. Why would you not be Team Healy's? You get to roll around and do cool stuff. Sounds awesome. All right, guys, I'm up out of here. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. Go get yourself a bucket hat. They're wonderful. They're wonderful. Have a great day. Goodbye.